It being on or about, thank you. Gosh. It being on or about 6:30 on June 17th, 2019, I hereby call this meeting of the Easton Conservation Commission to order. Please note you're being audio and video recorded, so act accordingly. First up is 12 Forest Edge Road. Speak of the devil.
Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Well, how are you?
Butter notifications? Yet? No. Okay. Didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, that's fine.
Some people give them to.
Do I need to sign in again? Or-
Yes, if you could, please, that'd be great. You have a good Father's Day, Bill?
Excellent.
Good.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
How old's your grandkid?
2 and 1.
2 and, oh my goodness.
They're wonderful.
That is
It's
a
special.
handful.
There's yours.
Good, it's good. Yeah. Crazy energy, but it was great.
you prefer the original or the copies?
Which do you prefer?
That is awesome.
We'll take these then.
Okay.
My morning gift was wake up at 5:15. I got my coffee
You need
early.
the list that I got from the town.
I have that.
Yeah, yeah, right.
You want to keep it. Every now and then people come in for new orders and that costs you $35.
Andrew, Tony, what do you guys want to bring us up to date? I don't know. Best place to start on this one is.
I don't know. So last time we met,
Mm-hmm.
asked to put in some erosion control. And you and I traded emails, Andrew as well. I put the straw tubing in. I put the pictures around there for you, so followed through on that. He asked for a plan, which I see it's up there. And I have a copy, Bill, if you need one.
I could try. I could.
I got one for you, sir. And I think some of you had made it out. Here you go, sir. You're welcome. Some of you made it out and saw what was going on, and hopefully that gave some context to what we were trying to accomplish. But just to rehash, a couple trees concerned to the wife, took them down, and then ultimately just wanted to put grass and some bushes around the perimeter. So what I'm proposing is to remove the area where we put some fill in, unless that causes more harm. I'll defer to y'all to figure that out. And then basically, keep 50 feet from the flags from the environmental engineer that we had come out, and just plant grass and the rest of it. And then put some bushes that are approved or native to Massachusetts around the perimeter, and at the very least, put whatever is prescribed by you all for going over, into the disturbing area, whatever you believe that would be called for. Then and then put some stakes. I believe Mr. Humphrey's, Bill Humphrey's, suggested that we put these permit stakes around the medallions. I think he referred to them as.
Yep.
Every 25 feet or 50 feet, whatever it was. We're perfectly fine with doing that, just to make sure that no one else is found in this situation in the future. But hopefully, we'll be here until they bury me.
At one point you thought maybe that permanent marker would be a post and rail fence.
Yeah, I was. I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of.
Back and forth.
I don't know. And as Lori and I discussed this, we didn't know if it was better to put more in. just so it's approved now, and then figure it out down the road. But at the very least, we think we want bushes, and if that's a problem, we would be fine with a split rail if that's better. But basically, what we're looking for is something to divide it. So if that's
I think we'd all be
preferred-
totally supportive of bushes at the very least, and I'm okay with a split rail fence. I'm okay with leaving kind of the option. What do you guys?
I like the split rail.
Yeah, it's whatever's.
Yeah, I think we
I'm
can
okay with-
condition it
it's not so
such that
much
it could be.
disturbance to put in a post and rail fence, so.
Yeah.
As long as the little medallions are on it saying,
Right.
Yes.
Every other post.
yeah,
or
so
whatever.
they don't rip it up.
Yeah. Right.
So with the bushes would have to come markers.
With, yeah, the markers. Yeah.
So put
And you-
markers with each bush, or
No. So if you let's say you went just with the bushes, then just every like 25 feet, just put in one of the markers. Or if you want to do the bushes and the fence, you could put the markers on top of the fence.
Okay.
Or if you do just the fence, you could just put them on top of the
Alright,
fence.
so we could put both if we want.
I mean, the bush is just going to provide more,
the medallions are
benefit.
that big,
Yes.
and they're aluminum. So if you do put them on a post, just make sure you get a big enough post to put them so they're not bending over or
Yep.
whatever.
We can give you a reference to, who is it, Driscoll, right? He's
Yeah,
our
I believe you
supplier.
gave me a reference today. I've been going to everybody you suggested. So
So either.
yeah, either
Okay.
or one, whatever. Again, we're open.
So the disturbed area right now is, how far from the wetland flags is it?
So it depends on where you are. So the closer you are towards the street, you're closer to it because there's a culvert that the water is.
Oh, is that
draining into.
retention area noted?
Yes, sir. So it gets tighter over there, and then as you continue to go out further, it's less and less. So it varies between I don't know, 10 feet to less than 10 feet. Like
Okay.
So it could be like, let me rephrase that. 40 feet or so from the flag to like 48 feet or so.
Mhm.
But as you wind around, it's well beyond.
Okay.
It's
Are you,
just
are you
that area.
thinking about the area to potentially be removed?
I just wanna make sure that we're, preserving at least 50 feet from the wetlands is just, and what we're gonna do to restore the disturbed area,
Mm-hmm.
plantings or whatever is gonna go in there.
Yep.
If necessary, I mean, if it's undisturbed, then we'll leave it alone,
Yeah.
but if we need to put some, yeah,
It's just that area,
okay, so,
Okay.
because that's where the wetland comes closest, and then it veers off.
How well established is that disturbed area that's hatched?
Very.
Is it all grown in now, or?
The hatched area is brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Hatched area is to be planted.
I don't know what the hatched area means. I just want
The
to make sure
hatched-
that I'm on the
Oh,
same page.
This area.
So this area right
Yeah.
now, it's just fill. So it was cleared out, and then we brought in fill to put there because ultimately we were going
Okay.
to do grass. So in this area, roughly, 10 to 20 feet, and then long, and then 10 feet deep or so. But I'm fine with pulling that out. Some people have said, I'm not an expert, I'll defer to you, that could cause more problems, but I'm perfectly fine with pulling that out and, the fill that was put in and redoing it, but I would defer to you all.
About how much fill would you say is there? Like how thick do you think it is?
4 inches.
4
It's
inches?
not a big deal.
I don't know.
Can't get to your back of your street.
I have just a couple comments.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is the straw wattle, is it staked, Andrea? It doesn't look like it's staked.
Probably at the moment it isn't,
Yeah.
but it's a really flat site.
Yeah.
So,
But you know what it can do is from a heavy rain, I'm worried
Yes.
about it lifting. That's the only thing.
I was actually out there in a heavy rain. It should be, definitely should be staked.
Yeah.
But I was actually out there right after a heavy rain and was really
I'm not
surprised.
talking about driving in
Yeah, I
giant stakes.
Yeah.
You want what happen, the straw wattle, the purpose of the straw wattle is when it gets wet, it gets heavier, and then at that time, it doesn't really need anything.
Yeah.
But being fresh, I'm just worried about
Run
wash
runoff,
under,
yeah.
that's all the runoff.
Oh, okay. So
We
that's
have the
fill there.
stakes there, I don't know,
It's like Andrea, 4 or 5 feet, 5 feet, and,
Be fine.
yeah. The other thing I have is on, comment, the only thing is, this area here seems like it has good undergrowth, but, if we allow, this is just with you guys, if we allow mulch as a means to stabilize the soil, I like using the mulch as sort of like, to get, to hold the heat in for whatever's underneath it and hold the moisture, et cetera, so everything underneath will grow. But if it's just mulch, I'm not a big fan of it, because I know this site's flat, so it's probably, I'm just being a little cautious, but I don't know, I think it'd be good to get, once the undergrowth, Andy, do you believe this undergrowth in here, because I'm looking at the soil that's there, doesn't look like it has enough native in it to create that, or?
Yeah, I think, I'm not a big fan of mulch either. You know, a seed mix, even if it's just a rye, the native
Yeah.
seed mix.
But if you put that underneath and mix it up and then throw the mulch over it, just to, so like throwing straw
Fill it
over
in.
it, yeah, helps. Yeah.
That makes sense.
so mix in like hayseed, mixseed.
Well, if the other
And
board
are you
members
gonna
don't
go-
have an issue, I would rather
Are you gonna go
see
back to,
a native
nursery?
mulch. I'm not
Yes.
talking about a
native seed,
hemlock,
just put native seed mix.
but a native seed mix, and then if you put a thin course of mulch over that, what it'll do is it'll keep it so it can grow 12 months out of the year. It'll
Right.
keep the heat of the earth in.
Mm-hmm. And you're talking leaving the fill and putting the seed mix down and then the mulch over it, or what do you think? With the
Well,
fill?
I think the mulch will give it, will break down and give it the opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking that. I'm
Okay.
just want to bounce off of Andrea. I'm not talking about wood chip either. I'm talking about a mulch that's gonna compost and feed the native.
Is that something you should be able to get from one of the local suppliers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just so
Yeah.
he just asked
Yeah.
for a natural mulch.
Yes. But I just see that when you use a natural mulch, it tends to break down, and then if you, like Andrea's saying, using a native, something that's native to this area, it will give the nourishment to what's there. I think if you come in and just put loam there, and I think whatever's in that loam's gonna try to grow out of there.
Yeah. Yes, we gotta put some native down to.
Yes.
Yeah, to kind of supercharge it. Okay.
Okay.
What do you think about leaving, get fill out?
I'd rather remove the fill, that's my sense, I don't think it's.
Yeah, I guess seeing these pictures, I think I'd probably agree with you.
Pull it back.
Yeah, pull the fill back
Yeah,
and
level
then
it off
do the
and
seed.
Yeah, right now it's just sloppy.
Right.
I did not to use any other term. It just looks sloppy.
Okay.
Andy, you've been out there. What do you think?
I expected it to be taken out,
Okay.
because it's a grass, it's a
Grass.
sandy mix, and,
Yeah.
normally it can be a problem, but, this is a really small area, so if you were doing it by hand, it'd be no problem, and if you're doing it by machine, you would be working from the uplands, so I don't see in this particular case that
Yeah,
pulling it
I don't-
out's an issue.
I don't want them to go into the wetlands to get it out. They
Yes,
should
there's
be
no
able-
need
They
to.
should be able to pull it back,
Yeah.
with a bobcat.
And if he pulls it back, will it hopefully mix with what's below it?
Yeah,
Right.
I think so.
Right.
And what's below it is perfectly fine, right?
Right,
It was just they literally put the stuff, you just grubbed and then put everything on top, right?
All right. So,
Yeah, whatever the guys did, whatever the guys did.
all right. So of the recommendations, the first one we'll do the restoration and then with the plantings with natural mulch or native grass seed as ground cover. We'll delineate the inner 50-foot buffer zone with permanent markers and medallions every 25 feet along the full length of the property. Option for the homeowner to do permanent markers on stakes or split rail fence with permanent markers on every other.
Usually they put the markers on a 4x4 that they bury in the ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're not doing a fence.
So we'll do the planting plan upon completion, and we'll monitor it for 3 growing seasons, allow the air to naturalize. We're gonna pull the fill back and put down some native seed mix with some native or natural mulch. and then the removal of the foreign objects from the stormwater basin. Anything else for you
Yes,
guys
sir.
on this one?
No, I would also just say that, they should be a little bit careful, because there's fill that's on the edge of the basin. They should just be a little bit careful about making sure that gets stabilized so it doesn't go down into
The stormwater
basin.
Yeah.
The stormwater basin is a definite problem for the subdivision.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not this homeowner's problem.
Yeah.
In the theory of, I gotta deal with it. In the theory of, better to ask now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right, the patio. Can you
Patio.
sketch on that map you have what you were thinking?
So,
Point, Andrea.
Tony, if you get an authorization to do something and you choose not to do it, the authorization goes away in 3 years.
Yes.
So, but if you choose to modify it, it's a much smaller. If you say, oh, it's not 15, it's 12, or it's not circular, it's rectangular. The modification is a simple administrative review.
Okay.
So, in terms of permitting strategy, it's always better to ask for more.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So,
Do we know what plants we're putting down, and
Yeah.
are they going,
There's a plan restoration in narrative in the wetland proposal.
okay?
It was I just paraphrased it in my comments.
Oh, here we go.
But the wetlands report will identify it.
Yeah, it does. High bush blueberry, black red chokeberry, winterberry holly, gray stem dogwood.
Density of 4 bushes per 100 square feet, up to 60 shrubs, would include natives.
Okay.
Those are good native plants too, because they don't need a lot of hydrology to grow.
So it's not in his
it's in the
Pine Brook Consulting.
Okay. It's in their
So
resort.
what do
Yeah.
you have, is
in
that
her
what you
report.
proposed?
So this is just, I grabbed it yesterday because, just to show you, we would be getting something that was pervious, so, some permeability, so water could run through it. So this is the one that we would most likely do. I don't know if you need that, but essentially we would just add a 15 diameter patio, I guess, here, closer to the house, on the left side by the porch. I don't know if that helps. Oops, sorry.
No, it's good,
So
that's
my
fine.
density, it's in there, but my density is in here, so that should be
Question.
added.
So, if this is 50 feet, do you think you could keep this 100 feet away from the wetland flags?
We'll try to keep it as far away as possible. I don't know, honestly, I don't know.
Do you know what the
Because
distance
what
is
happens-
from the wetland flag to your houses?
Not off the top of my head.
More than 100.
It's
More than
it's
100.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The issue we would have with bringing it this way, unless it slopes away from the house, right? So the house is.
Oh, it slopes down and then
slopes
levels?
down and then it levels off.
Gotcha.
So that's why I was trying to keep it over on the level area,
Okay.
unless we wanted to start talking about the tan wall.
And just a circular patio, anything on top of it, or?
Fireplace
or something.
Yeah, fire pit. But that's it. And quite honestly, I don't even think we're gonna do it, but.
Well, it is better to
Yeah, exactly.
ask now. I think if they're using pervious pavers.
Yeah, can I comment on that if,
Yeah.
just 2 seconds? If you go with, we call pervious pavers, but paver is not pervious, the
Yeah,
block, so it's
right.
in between. So what a lot of guys will do is they'll install that and they'll put it on gravel and all that stuff, so for the water to go through, but then they end up they do the seams with polymetric sand. The polymetric sand has Portland
Right,
in
blocks
it.
it.
There's Portland in it, so it hardens like a rock.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I've seen what they do is if you can space them, and they actually make it's called like a cut sand, which is a masonry sand. So it's more, it's very stable, but it has very sharp edges. It's not like sand for a play box.
Mm-hmm.
And you put that cut sand in, and it'll bite and finish off, and the water will run through it.
Okay.
And you'll see this used down Cape Cod a lot, is that instead of the polymetric.
Yeah, of course.
So it's the polymetrics, it's, might as well
Right.
call it cement.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of that other.
1 inch, quarter inch, half inch?
They have, when you put them together, they typically have, they have these little stubs on them. It ends up being about a 3/8, quarter inch 3/8.
Okay.
They
okay.
all have that. It's not, you put them together and they have those little tabs.
That's
So they
like
block,
cut
okay.
Masonry sand.
They
Okay.
call, yeah, it's called cut sand.
Okay.
That's the,
And
name
then
they give it.
I was thinking it wasn't necessarily a patio, but it was the whatchamacallit that those folks put up near Center School, and we had them put a certain level of stone underneath it for drainage.
Yes,
What was
Yeah,
your
that's-
recommendation there?
that
For-
was,
like 12 inches deep.
yeah, we wanted it down into, so it got into
Oh,
the
into the native soil.
native soil.
Right. All right.
So it would clean itself.
Right.
In other words, if it's going down into anything that's loamy or whatever,
Right.
it's not going to.
Right. And what was this? How did you call the stone that we prescribed there?
It was 3/4 inch double wash.
Inch double washed.
Yeah, so it doesn't have any from the yard that it comes to. They double wash it. Well, first they wash it, then they put it in the trailer and wash it, so it doesn't have any of the stone dust on it.
Where's
All
your
right, so
Which
patio?
will
Looking-
clog up the bottom of it.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, so it's not gonna be up near the porch? Okay.
As close to the porch as possible because it
Mhm.
slopes down away from the house. So
Okay.
it'll be-
So he's gonna be so instead of saying
It's probably gonna
100
be
feet away,
It's probably
more
going to be
like,
within 100 feet.
so more like 75 feet away?
What?
Are you thinking of putting a collector around it
I think,
and
I
running
think you
it?
can do it. I think
Just
on
putting
that
the
side would be
collector
well
around it.
over 70.
Yeah, like 12 inches
Yeah,
around.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Yeah. So we'll have them do the base 12 inches on. 12 inches bigger on radius
Yeah.
than the radius of the patio for the extra drainage. Is that what we're
And
talking about, right?
having- Yeah, that'll do the collecting and
Yep.
it'll go in and
Right.
recharge itself.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, so 15-foot diameter patio. We'll have you use the cut sand to fill the gaps. For the base, we'll have you use you'll get all this. The 3/4 inch double wash stone as the base, and the depth of that base is going to depend on how far it takes down to get down to native soils. And we've done that before because then let's say the channels in between the stones get plugged up. Then we have a buffer on the outside where if it just runs off, then it goes right into that stone base and just recharges back
But
in.
also there's got to stay a condition on that nobody uses the polymetric sand.
Right? Yeah. No.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably more importantly than specifying the cut sand is no. What do they call it?
yeah.
Polymetric.
Polymetric, yeah. And,
No.
yeah, it's just a type of sand, and you get it colored, and they put Portland in it. So what happens is when you wet it, it
Yeah. It
turns
seals
into
up.
Yeah, it turns
Yeah.
into concrete. Yeah,
Yeah. I did it on my front walkway.
works great.
It's amazing. No more
Water running through it.
no more weeds and no more ants.
Yeah, exactly.
The only other thing is, we just want to make sure in the conditions we reference the planting plan that's talked about earlier in the,
Right. So number 3, I'm gonna say
as referenced in the wetland report.
reference.
So can we target, because you had also sent me a list of
Yep.
stuff from Blueville. Or
Yep.
Blueview.
Blueview, yeah.
Blueview,
Blueview, yeah.
that would have been acceptable. So
Those
if
are all
we-
natives.
So if we use something from there and not from the engineering report, is that a problem? I just.
Yeah,
Fine.
it's not a
Okay.
problem.
Yeah. So
It's the
reference
density
planting
that's
plan,
more
wetland
important.
report, and native species list provided by town agent.
Well, it's, I guess what she was suggesting a density of 4 bushes per 100 square feet. So as long as they're native and they're shrubs, there's no need to put in trees,
Right.
so.
Okay. Very good. All right. Anything else you want to add to this one, Bill?
Nope, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Would you like to close? Would you like to close? Yes.
Sure, I don't know.
Any public comment on 12 Forest Edge?
Yes.
Seeing none, motion to issue a permit to work in order of conditions for 12 Forest Edge with the conditions noted in the staff report as I'm about to amend them. The first bullet point, number 7, we're going to note that the mulch be natural or native. The second bullet point, we're going to note that the applicant may use either or both bushes with a split rail fence or with permanent markers on posts as the marker for the wetland boundary. For bullet point number 3, we're going to also reference the planting plan in the wetland report and the native species list the town agent provided. Bullet point number 5, stone patio that's approximately 15 feet in diameter may be installed no closer than, are we saying 75 feet? From the wetland boundary without further review and approval. And as part of the conditions for the patio, that they shall use mason cut sand or something similar for filling in the gaps. They shall not use polymetric sand. For the base of underneath the patio, they'll use 3/4 inch double wash stone as the base with a depth 2 native soils, and a diameter on that base shall be 24 inches larger than the diameter of the patio.
Oh, not 12, 24.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I meant 12 on either side. So, condition number 6: removing all toys and foreign objects from the stormwater basin located on or adjacent to the property. And as far as the, what are we calling that area? Can I see that for a second? The area to be removed, we are going to request that the fill be pulled back and the applicant put down a native seed mix with native mulch material on top, native or natural mulch material on top, and allow it to renaturalize, and to take special caution when pulling fill away from the retention area so that we don't get it flowing back into there.
Sorry, it just popped into my head. Sprinklers, is that an issue? Because we have sprinklers now.
You have them now, they're already installed.
There's
In the existing lawn.
And they're in the existing, and then if we ran, I'm sorry about this, if we added, it's not a big deal, I'm just thinking out loud here, but if we added, because the existing lawn, it only covered to here, but the rest of the lawn is in the water. Is that-
Could you replace the sprinkler heads on here so they could broadcast around, do you think?
We can definitely do something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so shoot it
I mean,
around rather than
it's
run
also not
water.
a huge amount of disturbance to run a little bit of
it's
irrigation.
Fuller.
No.
I think just as long as we keep 75 feet away from the wetland boundary.
Yeah. When they do it,
Nothing,
they're just using a puller. They don't disturb, goes into the ground, they pull it underneath.
Right.
Just makes it a cut.
Right.
And, no, there's
So
no disturbance.
I'd keep it 25 feet away from this 50-foot line. So we'll just say 75 feet away from the wetland boundary.
Yeah, because
They
he can
don't
have
need
a
to
shoot
be
back.
on the edge shooting this way, they just need to be.
Yeah, they just need to be somewhere.
Right, yeah.
Okay, perfect, all right.
All right, and amending that decision to add approval to add some irrigation points no closer than 75 feet to the wetland line.
And I get, one more thing, so the bushes and stuff, you're fine with it being around 50 feet from,
Yeah, I think the bushes will be, they're talking about planting them all within that 50 foot.
Maintained, yeah, reestablish
Yeah.
50 feet.
reestablish it, okay. All right. I just, something, I didn't want it, like, the idea that it was like here.
Yeah, no, so we'll put the markers, be it that rail fence or the post with the markers, will go along this line. And then, I guess if we planting the bushes either along that line or probably inside the 50 foot also to reestablish.
All right, good.
All right.
Can I have your sketch plan for the record?
Do we
you
also-
need it?
Do we also
Or you
want
can write it
to
on mine.
make a
Okay,
condition
thanks.
to use no nitrogen?
Oh, yeah. You are good with using organic lawn care practices? It's pretty easy. I use it on my lawn. It's just, yeah. Yeah. All right. Oh, yeah, like
I
a
don't
deer
know.
or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
that's, put it in there, we'll make sure that.
Okay. And good point. And also implementing organic lawn care practices. And we have a whole manual that we can share with you too.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thanks, Tony.
Thanks,
Thanks for working with us. Thanks for jumping on it.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Keith. He's fantastic.
It is good.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a quick learner.
Do you guys know Bill Olson from Easton?
Who?
Bill Olson.
Bill
Yeah.
Olson from Norfolk?
Olson.
Or Easton.
No.
Lived on Baltic Ave. I just came from
Take care.
his wake up here.
Mm.
Good guy.
Oh man.
Great
I'm
guy.
just gonna call him up so I can get started. 305 Turnpike Street. Hey.
Good, nice to meet you.
All right, so we're back.
Yep, we're back, exactly, for the more formal submittal. I don't know if you guys remember, I'm Bill Kenny from Riverhawk Environmental.
Yep.
And, we're here for the restoration work at 305 Turnpike Street. They had a wood structure that was an attempt at a retaining wall.
Yeah. Very good.
There was an attempt.
And the wood structure's out, the erosion controls are in, and really not too much work has been done beyond that since the original discovery. We're proposing just to put the split rail fence up about 15 feet away from the bordering vegetated wetlands and just to kind of demarcate the area and keep people out of there. It was kind of a good idea. And then clusters of 3. It's going to be gray dogwood, high bush blueberry, and red maple trees. There's going to be wetland mix in the transition area, and then the standard red fescue. I forget the standard grass mix in the upland areas where it's kind of a little bit disturbed up in this area. Before they started, there was a shed back here and a boat and a bunch of other stuff, and their effort that the mobile homeowner was just trying to clean up back there, but didn't understand the nuances of the requirements, the local bylaws and Wetlands Protection Act. So here we are.
Here we are. Great. Well, it looks like you guys have it pretty well mapped out there. Andrea, I think your recommendations in the report sound very reasonable. Bill, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, I'm glad they're jumping on it. That's
Likewise. Roy, did you have anything you wanted to add?
The only thing that was a question, that there's 2 large trees that came down.
Mm-hmm.
When did those come down? Were they down originally? I didn't remember seeing them the first time I was there.
Those are the maples you're talking about.
They were they were probably right around here.
Mm-hmm.
They were down when you were?
Yeah, they were down when I was there, and that was I think the day that
There's still
Not-
one in
not-
the center,
Not-
right?
These are further in. These are.
Oh
way
yeah,
in.
they fell in this, they had
In
gone,
the spring?
before the violation was noticed,
Okay.
they were
If you
already
look at the
down.
roots on it, on the trees too, you can see it. They're sort of, you know how what is it when they brace themselves when they get
Oh, yeah.
suffocated? I forget the term for it.
Yeah.
But if you look at them, you can see
Yeah,
it's sort of rotting off.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think it's called the Humphrey.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right. Yes. Thank you, Professor.
Sorry.
But
right.
I had
I'm a
no,
little
I
bit
was
of a
actually, I was quite pleased when I went out there to see how much work had already been
Yeah.
done to remove the stuff and the siltation controls.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Do we want to send a note out to the rest of the owners in
Oh,
the
there you
park?
know what's going on.
All right, good. All right. Anything to add? Nope.
Sir? Nope.
All right.
Good.
one other thing I
oh, yeah.
just wanted to mention is, and I think it's probably on you guys' radar anyways, it was in the write-up, the maple tree that's out there that's kind of like leaning over towards the house.
Mhm.
I haven't been out there now that there's more vegetation to see to bear witness to whether the leaves are coming out on the tree or not.
Absolutely, yeah.
They are.
Yeah, there's
So it's
one branch,
not-
one branch that's not.
Okay, so we
So
can allow for the pruning of the dead branch on the
Yeah.
maple.
Okay, it's not like the tree's gone at this point then.
It didn't, when I
Okay.
was out there on Saturday, there's one branch, if you're looking out towards the wetlands on the left-hand side.
Okay.
It's not,
It's the second to
leafing.
last bullet.
Okay,
so,
good.
but the
Oh, it
rest,
is?
it was
Yeah.
leafing.
Oh, there we go.
Mr. Pruning on
Limbs,
the, on
may
the
allow
dead
limbs
limbs,
leaning toward the trailer to be removed.
Okay, so
Mr. Pruning.
Yeah, but this was higher than that, so.
He will fall down and
So-
land on the house.
Get rid of the
No, I
or.
don't think so, it's farther enough away.
Okay, so there's no or on that. It's
Okay.
just allow limbs leaning toward the trailer to be removed if unhealthy?
Yeah,
Okay.
Perfect.
Should we talk about, just in case they do go that route, about removing the tree to make sure they stay on Fifth Street and use a crane, not going out there and dropping it?
Yeah,
You know, bringing some guy out there and a tree
Yeah.
or tree hugger guy goes up. And
Or do we want
just
do we
drops
want
it.
to just say that any
the
tree
The
removal
branch
will
that's dead is
require
probably about,
Conservation Commission notification,
Yes,
notification?
yes, yeah.
I mean,
notification.
this,
Yeah.
this branch that's dead's only 6 or 8 inches. It's not like a huge part of the tree. From
But
what
the tree itself, that where it's listing though, say,
Yeah,
get
if
some-
they, I think they've gotta come to us to
Yeah.
Yeah.
get approval to take the whole tree down.
Any tree removal shall require
I don't mind them removing the branch.
right
You know, 'cause that's not a big deal.
notification and approval from.
Can they get up that high?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's a problem. I mean, it's like 20 feet out, so.
Concom.
Yeah, I shouldn't have. So,
So we'll just say allow limbs leaning toward home to be pruned if dying, or we just want to allow them to prune some branches.
If a certified arborist determines it's unhealthy,
Yeah. Okay.
we changed professional to arborist. There's a lot of tree removal people who aren't arborists.
We're trying to allow maximum flexibility.
Right. And you were checking to make sure I read it.
All right.
That's right.
We were right there.
Any public comment on 305 Turnpike Street? All right. Seeing none, would you like to close? Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Motion to close and issue permits work in order of conditions for 305 Turnpike Street as laid out in the staff report dated June 13th, 2019. Item number 5, bullet point number 5 shall be amended to allow for limbs leaning toward home to be pruned if certified arborist deems them unhealthy. And we are adding an additional condition that any tree removal shall require notification and approval from the Conservation Commission.
I second that.
All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you for allowing me
Sure,
to
a butter
be
notification?
Yes.
part of it.
Thank you.
Yeah. We like getting full participation.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks.
Good night.
Have a good one.
Bye.
All right, 7 Elderberry Drive.
Which of course is probably a song somewhere.
Well, at the very least, it's a Monty Python joke. How you doing? Good, thanks.
Hi.
There.
Thank you.
You a bad neck?
Oh, thanks.
You a bad neck?
Yeah.
You wanna get injections?
No, well, it's I don't know what it is, but it always gets out of whack and I get migraines, and it's definitely tied in here.
Oh, yeah, you just,
Getting, I go to the chiropractor like bi-weekly.
it helps.
Yes.
It's
When I get when I see the chiropractor regularly, I rarely get migraines.
It's right, it's already outside.
This is my old man thing right here.
Tell you something about that.
I've heard.
Here.
Yeah, I know. My wife told me a couple weeks ago. Sorry. Sidebars. Please bring us up to date on your project.
My name's Ken Thompson, botanist. We're here to restore buffer zone and legalize a dock. The applicant, Paul Newman, is going to extend his patio around his pool. I've got the impact of about 534 square feet.
Oh, good. Did you see my staff report?
Just before I walked in, I apologize on that.
Oh, probably my fault for not sending it to you directly.
You guys are awful quick with electronics. I like it actually, but okay, thank you.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna hang this upside down and give you a better view of what we're doing here. Alright, currently, there's a 24 by 5.5 foot dock anchored to the shore. On the edge of the shore, it's a floating dock, and they anchored it with like big metal stakes, the jumpy stakes, like
Yeah, the big like 1 inch diameter deals.
big ones. Hasn't moved. I don't know how many years. It's gone through the winters there, everything. Ms. Newman cleared this view here. This supposedly, Ms. Newman tells me that it was actually a field. So when the agent came onto the property, there's a lot of brush pile in there. She asked to remove it, we removed it, put hay on. These are 2 wildflower gardens currently within the viewscape. It's lawn down to the edge. There's a row of pine trees right along this piece here, existing pines, the branches have been moved to like 30 feet for the view of the pond, okay? He has come in and cut the shrubbery to the ground. They are starting to re-sprout. We'd like to supplement that with some slow growing stuff so we can kind of maintain a viewscape, but yet maintain the shoreline, continue the shoreline. Within this entire area, we're proposing in this fall to plant wildflowers, the showy mix, which is a grass, native grass.
This fall. This fall?
Well, the planting season's kind of getting late here. There'll be a lot of water, and
Yeah.
so I prefer to do it in the fall. We'll come in here in the first week of September after the holiday. We'll skim that grass off with one of those lawn cutters and roll it up and get it out of the way. And then seed it. And then I'll put a cover crop of like buckwheat on it or winter rye, an annual cover crop to stabilize the area. We'll supplement some plantings down here. I think I recommend high-bush blueberries. I did. And a little bit of winterberry. It's slow growing, easy to maintain. You've been to the blueberry farms, it's easy.
Not gonna put any elderberry in?
No, no elderberry,
Just
not
joking.
this time. A little bit of winterberry. I like the red berries in the fall. But we're gonna request that we would be allowed to like maintain like a 4-foot elevation in there of the plant height so that we can keep the viewscape open. And what was it, 400 feet? He owns 400 feet of the shoreline. This is 60 feet wide in here. And then this is 5.5. Andrea recommended that we provide details for the patio. I mean, there's gonna be very little elevation change of the patio. It's just extending out from an existing patio that surrounds a pool.
We just didn't, it's just not shown on the existing conditions that I saw.
I submitted the patio plans.
With the original,
Yes, with the original.
thanks.
And she's
So we'll just reference, that's
one-
this section right here, this, which you might have, we kind of gave you some enforcement stuff. So, I'll make sure this gets posted to the on-site, online application, and we'll reference it.
Is that this
It
detail?
is referenced right there. This includes,
No,
includes patio plan.
it's not. If you show me that, there it is right there.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah, it's not on this one. I don't think,
Let me see.
I'm actually loving this, also.
Yeah. Facing out.
It's not, yeah, it's not
Yeah,
listed.
okay.
It hasn't been posted, but I can post it for you.
And what's the existing
Paul.
and what's proposed in here?
What's existing is this is already existing,
Mm-hmm.
that's already existing. And this is proposed, this is proposed, this is proposed, and this is proposed. And we're coming up approximately 3 feet, 4 feet from the existing fence line.
So there's an existing fence. Here.
Yes, there's a pre-existing fence here, yeah. Fell off or being around the pool.
Is it all just lawn now?
Yes, it's all lawn, yeah. Yes, it's all lawn, so I'm willing to do whatever you wish.
And was the did the pool and the existing lawn and everything get approved by Concom, I'm assuming?
No, none of this. This is all brand new. First time
Okay.
he's met this guy.
Okay.
Nah, this is first time conservation.
All right.
So, this is, that we can call a sketch plan and date it and reference it in the notice.
So limit of proposed. So on this map, the limit of proposed improvements, is that the fence line?
It's a little beyond.
It's
It
beyond
is.
the fence.
It's beyond the
Here's
fence.
a close-up,
Yeah.
guys.
Oh, right. That's the
Yeah,
limit of work.
excellent.
Okay, I can see.
You know what I
I
mean?
think, yeah, yes,
All right.
please.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So the
So fence is right here.
Yep.
And the fence is, let's see.
This is the
Is that the 200?
pink is.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, yeah.
There's the fence.
100-foot floodplain buffer.
That's right.
Let's
It's
see,
not
that
got
one is
through
the
there, but here's-
100-foot buffer.
That's the 100, that's the 50. These are buffers on top of,
The floodplain.
floodplain was
Yeah.
not accurate. We found a home right up up the lake, about 600 feet, that filed a loamer and it was approved. The flood elevation now is 82.5, which is down closer to the
Yeah.
lake.
Oh yeah, way
Wow.
closer.
Well, you gotta really,
Well, yeah, 'cause they're
Yeah.
they're building that house, that big house right on the lake up in Stoughton
Stone, yeah.
yeah, we
or
have,
pond.
you have that control structure at the bottom. The flood elevation, the lake doesn't change that much, is
Yeah.
what Frank explained to me, because of
Okay.
the control structure at the bottom.
Oh
Maybe it's
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
dam.
yeah. That makes
Okay,
sense.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, my property kind of abuts that,
That's the 100 right there, right?
Mm-hmm. The
The
brown
orange
one.
one.
the orange one. So
Versus
we're
the
just,
naked,
alright, so that's the
yeah.
fence line, so if you see this,
This
That new,
is-
that new line is the fence line.
yeah.
The brown line is the new fence.
Ken, what's,
Oh, the
What's
brown,
the-
the brown line on Paul,
This,
on Frank's,
this is Frank's
is a
drawing.
new, is a relocated fence?
20.
20, okay. Oh, 20, all right, so your disturbance in there is
Okay, alright.
3/4 by.
So this brown line is gonna line up with the fence line that's gonna be established here.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. Alright. So the existing patio barely nicks into the,
Yeah, because
100
it's
foot.
it's 20 scale, so if you did that, it's about an inch and a quarter, so that's
Right.
20, say 25 feet. And then if you do a triangular, so 25 times 20, so it's about 220 square feet. He's into it right now,
right,
and wants to probably.
What you're doing is changing grass to patio.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Up there.
So what are the intention of the smaller ones? You can see the ones, the jacuzzi or a pool, a spa, right?
Right.
And then on the other side?
Yeah, this is just a kitchenette, outside kitchenette.
No, the one on to the right, the
Yeah.
dark area down along the fence. I think it's your pool.
This is
Pool
the,
filters.
this is
Oh,
the
full-
pre-existing pool filters.
Oh, is that box
Yeah,
there?
yep, pre-existing pool filters and a fireplace with a, I don't know, TV or whatever that she wants.
Here.
You
See that?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because if we come,
Wish this was.
She wants a little refrigerated unit on wheels. That's what she wants.
You know, this, if you put that over there, because that looks like it's almost quarter scale. Oops. Go like this is.
yeah.
It's close to it, so.
It is close.
Yeah, so that
Shot
right
glass,
there.
it's gonna be
Not
dark enough.
necessarily. Not when you do it right.
You can
So,
cut
guys,
it.
you see what's happening?
No.
They're trying to put this on the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
plan.
yeah, yeah.
Can we ask that Frank Reiblin
Yeah, that's pretty good.
get that
That's pretty
onto
good.
a revised plan?
Alright, so.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, can we do that? Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
See, let's go like that, yeah, now let's just go like that and see where we are.
yes.
Alright, yeah,
Alright, so the patio is pretty much outside that.
Yeah, yeah. yeah. Paul, what's this here? Is this plantings that you wanted to do around that, or is that existing also?
No, there's plantings I wanted to hide that,
And on the other side of the fence out here, it's all just lawn right now?
on this side here, it's all lawn, and this is all natural woods.
So this is the lawn area that you propose to take up right here?
Down in here will be the 50-foot
Yeah.
zone that I'll have to plant. Then I'll have to plant the wildflowers.
Now, Riverfront doesn't come into play in this one?
Technically, in the local bylaw, it does.
Okay. That's what I thought I remember from the new pond or the old pond stuff.
Right, technically it is, but it's, I wouldn't call it a perennial stream. I mean, what do you call it, a riverfront on a lake? So, in terms of the performance standard, you're getting a 50-foot no disturb zone. Now, the question, you guys were just talking about colored lines. The question for you is whether you want it to be 50 feet from where the where Ken identifies where the BVW would have been, or 50 feet from the floodplain, which is just a tiny bit, which is the difference between the purple line and the kind of orangey brown line.
This kind of shows you pretty good.
Yeah. So you picked 50 feet from the buffer zone, right?
Mhm.
Right. And
So it's gonna be something like that. So more along this line up here, just underneath that line there.
right. So I mean, I think that the BVW line is a real straightforward
Yeah.
line
Yeah.
for the 50-foot no disturb. I mean, 50-foot naturalize.
Yeah.
Kevin,
That's your
when does
choice.
the grass come, when do you take the grass out? When's the best time to do that?
At this time, yeah, I'd recommend like early September, right after the holiday, get in there. Take, like I said, take that lawn machine that
Yep.
it cuts it off and rollers it up.
Yeah.
Maybe top dress it and then put the seed down, wildflower seed, rake it in, and then get a cover crop on it, and then probably mulch it, or hydro seed it.
Yeah, I think
that, yeah.
I think I'd like to see the proposed improvements on the plan with the just with all the lines. And
Yeah,
everything.
showing everything so we see where it is. Then can
Mhm.
you also, if I may add, I like the, so you're proposing to do the hydro seed of the
Native
species,
grasses.
the native stuff. That would be nice.
It can be done, and then we'll overseed it with an annual cover crop like wild rye or buckwheat.
Yeah.
And that will establish it before winter, stabilizing it, and it'll fade away with time. Long-term maintenance, we're recommending one cutting in November, just to keep the tree and shrubs out and maintain the meadow. The area to the north here, the old field that had the branches on it,
It's all grown.
we'll get it established, but we're gonna let it go native after that.
Don't they recommend cutting that, when you do that, where the field will be in the summertime? Don't they recommend cutting it then, or no?
No, because you got turtles, reptiles, mice,
Okay.
so they kinda want everybody to go underground,
Gotcha.
and then we'll come out and weed whack it. Really, the only reason you're weed whacking it is to control the
Doesn't make
tree
it
and shrub.
establish and make it grow better? or-
No, you want the seeds to disperse from the
Oh, okay,
plants
okay.
first, so you want,
Okay.
that's all happened, the animals have gone to sleep, the turtles are out of the way.
Yeah.
Because usually people use mechanical mowers for this stuff, like the big bushwhacking machines and stuff like that.
Throw everything
And
out,
What about maintaining a path to the dock?
This is all closed
Yeah.
canopy,
Yeah,
pine.
okay.
There's plenty of walking space under there, we're just,
Making sure you've got access to your
Okay.
yeah,
dock.
we
Yeah.
can get, we can get there.
Okay.
You said the dock would be relocated, so where would you relocate it?
I wouldn't relocate it from the position it's in, because it'd be easy access through here.
Oh, why did I think, when you said relocate,
I
you were
was talking
thinking
about-
elevate?
I was gonna slide it out and put it on 4 poles out here and then use like a marina
Yeah,
ramp to it, but you've come back with more like the waterways way of doing it,
Yep,
and put it up in pilings, we'll have that done,
okay.
that's no problem.
So what kind of clearance will the accessway have over the shore?
I would imagine it's gonna be about 2 feet, because the way that shoreline drops there.
Mhm.
I mean,
So
you're
2
talking,
feet at the shore,
yeah, you're talking, that pine shelf,
yep,
where the pine trees are.
yep.
There's only 3 feet between that and the water, and it drops about 2 feet, so it's gonna sit up on top there and then extend out.
And so the accessway is gonna be on rollers.
We proposed, if you came back and asked for pilings, either way would work for us.
Mhm.
It's gonna be built by a professional company anyways.
So it's gonna be rebuilt.
There's gonna be some kind of,
It
Work.
has to be redone. That dock kind of too heavy to put on stilts.
yeah, and I mean, we're fine with doing the pilings, if that's what you request. And just build a solid dock and get rid of the ramp altogether. I mean, that's kind of where you were heading. At least that's what I interpreted from your comments.
Honestly, this is actually, used to be in the waterways program,
Yeah, I know.
so,
I saw
So-
your presentation actually today online.
did you?
It's
Oh my God, I'm online.
2006.
Uh-oh. So, I was thinking of putting the posts on the shore
Mhm.
and then the accessway on,
On wheels.
On
You like the
wheels.
way we've got it
yeah,
designed, basically.
yeah, basically.
And we'll-
And then you just have to stabilize
yeah,
that in
we'll
place.
stabilize that and then just
So the fewer piles under the water, the better off you are.
Well, how convenient.
It just so happens,
Hey, you did it right.
yeah, he's a professional.
Worked on boats for 15 years. I've been walking down that ramp in
Yeah.
January, many years.
So do you need a plan, this shows existing, do you need a plan of where, of what it, this,
I talking about for the dock.
for the dock?
Do we need a plan for the dock?
Do we need
Do
a
we
plan?
need, does this,
This
this is
is it.
pretty much it?
This is
Yes,
it for the
that's
dock.
fine, that's fine. Honestly, it's not,
Sounds like it's
a big deal on this pond.
okay. Great. All right, so we'll get the plan updated for the update for the proposed changes. I mean,
Has anything changed in the buffer restoration? 50 feet from BBW is fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're good.
I think we're good there.
The dock set. So basically, really, all you need is a detail showing the proposed patio put on that plan.
Yeah, and any grading that's gonna need to be done,
Mhm.
and then for the patio itself, what were you planning for using for materials?
Pavers.
Pavers.
So it's porous.
Well, we'll do the same conditions we did before, just none of the polymetric sand. You cut stone in between to fill in between, and a 3/4 inch double wash stone underneath down to native soils.
That's fine.
Okay, great.
That's fine.
All right.
Can we?
Perimeter, gravel too?
Yeah, I guess probably perimeter, well, at least on this side.
Yeah,
This
what-
is the
I
downslope.
can't, what's the grade, so it's going like,
It's not a steep grade there.
It's not a
No,
steep
it's
grade.
It's a little bit of a grade, but it's not very much.
It's a long,
side.
long grade to the pond, to those pines.
It only goes a few feet,
Maybe like
over
here,
100
here,
feet,
here.
so.
We could just have it along the outside of the
You
fence.
know,
Yeah,
property.
Yeah.
I was there on Saturday.
Are you? Stop by?
Yeah, I'd ring the doorbell, nobody was home, so.
What's up?
Exactly.
I always ring the doorbell.
Not a bad little.
So I guess just to keep it simple instead of
Yeah,
really doing
I
it
was
around
thinking
all
that.
the patio spots, because what we've been doing is having basically a barrier of the crushed stone around the patio itself, just to help with runoff and getting recharged in.
Mhm.
Would you guys be open to having that just on the outside of the fence, just
Yeah,
like
whatever you
12
want.
inches?
Yeah, so brown stone, double wash stone.
Yeah, yeah, because then that'll catch all the runoff from here, the lawn.
Don't worry on that. She needs that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's no problem at all.
Well, we're gonna get it on the plan.
right.
Okay. He's been writing on my copy, do you have this? You have this?
Yeah, that's right. Just copy
Yeah,
that.
sorry.
I can get that.
Okay,
You can
okay.
get that. You have a second copy of that?
Frank has it.
Okay. We got it from good
Right,
friend.
Frank?
Frank is right behind
You
you.
had one of those plans, right, of the deck?
Yeah, one of those, yeah.
Sorry, I just scribbled on it.
He has his copy. This, I gave 7 copies.
Whack me with a ruler.
I kept mine.
Okay, great. So is the next meeting July 1st?
No,
July
15th.
July 15th.
Is there any way that we can just submit that plan supplemental of the meeting? I mean, it's pretty straightforward what's requested of us.
There's 21 days to write the decision, he could,
Frank, the question is, we need to add to the plan, the
That won't get
the
us to
proposed.
the 15th, will it?
No,
no,
but
what I'm
she's
saying is,
Can I borrow that
We,
pen?
we could certainly, import into it the,
They would like to see that on the final plan.
yeah, we could import into the final plan, that plan there that was prepared by the pool company.
Okay. And the one thing they were adding is gravel around the outside perimeter of the
condition
three
it to
bottom
receive
legs
a revised plan.
for infiltration.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, I think, yeah, that's what I mean,
Yeah, look nice too.
okay
Yeah.
with what they want to do.
Certainly add that.
Okay. So are you okay with doing a conceptual upon receipt of a revised plan?
Yeah, I am. I know this guy, family in the town for forever, they're very good.
We know where he lives.
He aggressively made her,
The other-
chased her down.
The one thing that I have, that I heard tonight is this gets there's quite a line of poison ivy that creeps out here.
Mm.
Okay.
And to use that as a walk line, I'd have to clear it, which I don't want to get in any more trouble.
Could we get some,
So
can we get some goats back there?
You want a pathway in there?
Exactly.
Yeah, can I just get a little pathway in here instead of walking through the,
We'll add a little more up here for the
You're gonna wanna, and then you maintain your wood edge by not allowing the poison ivy to come into your meadow.
That's fair.
Okay.
But I don't want to cover the poison ivy.
Okay.
Well, actually, all right. So
Yes, the
I
drag is
used-
poison ivy is a native plant.
Yeah. What is the consequence
I usually just let it
of
grow.
salt, vinegar, dish soap on? I mean, is that,
So what you're saying is just use a native
that knocks out. Well, I've
herbicide.
used it on myself.
What is this?
It's a gallon of vinegar, a cup of salt, and a tablespoon of like Dove soap, and it destroys everything.
The soap is the surfactant that breaks up the wax on top of the leaves, that's why they
Yeah,
always
yeah.
use that.
Mhm.
Really?
Salt and vinegar.
So
huh?
I mean, do you think there would be any issue with using that in the
Native
buffer
native
zone, or-
herbicides. Okay.
That's invasive though, isn't it?
Yeah.
The ivy, right? Isn't it very
Yeah,
invasive?
usually
Natural.
you tape yourself
Yeah.
up in old clothes
Yeah.
and gloves and just
No,
rip it all out.
I've
you know.
sprayed ivy in my yard with that stuff, and it takes a
Mhm.
couple days, but it knocks it out.
So I would just need a little walkway. I don't care how big it is.
Stefan, tell me what you,
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
okay.
Should have told me.
No.
Are you so you're talking about through the mitigation
Narrow
area here,
portion,
just like a
narrow.
5 foot?
Yeah, right through here.
You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done
Done
that
that before with other
Thank
similar
you.
things. Yeah, that's fine.
Frank, can you get that on?
And then if
the
you
plan?
want to, you probably will want to control the poison ivy at some point because that stuff creeps in. I don't know,
I
in
got
the
some,
middle of my
I
front
got some
yard
out by my
somewhere.
barn, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
It's growing under the shingles, I've had enough. It's time to tear it apart.
All right, very good. So we're good. The conditions that Andrea has in here. We're gonna, I didn't take a ton of notes. I know the care that you noted as far as like the cutting in November and some of the cover crop you're gonna put down. Is that noted in one of
I
the?
believe I put it
It's
in
in the
both.
narrative.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
in the
great,
narrative.
great. Let's see. We're gonna.
I added monitoring for 75% success rate for the BBW shrubs.
That's fine, I don't mind visiting this guy.
Okay.
I'll see him
We're
in
gonna
September.
allow 5 foot path through mitigation area.
Mhm. Is that included on the revised site plan?
It will be.
To allow for dock access. Patio mods to be shown on revised plan. We're gonna have a 12-inch, 3/4
Gravel.
block double wash stone trench basically on the 3. What direction is that? Westernmost edges of the
North.
fence.
Yes. The three bottom edges.
12-inch.
Frank's got it on his list.
Inch and a half stone, good, Bill?
I'm sorry?
Inch and a half?
3/4 we'd rather
That's
say.
great.
3/4 inch double wash.
Is it tighter?
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
native soils.
And the problem is with the the inch and a half rock can move. And it's just, the 3/4 seems to settle and the water goes through it easier. For some reason, the bigger stone, it hits and runs off.
Is there anything else?
Allow maintenance of the BVW shrubs to no more than a 4-foot height to maintain a
Dirty,
viewscape.
Too tall. Inch and a half, you get the leaves in it and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
To maximum 4 feet?
Maximum height of 4 feet.
And we'll say, allow natural herbicide.
Poison ivy maintenance in woodlands.
Anything?
That's it.
Anything else?
I'm good.
Any public comment on 7 Elderberry Drive? Seeing none, would you like to close?
Please.
All right, so this one does not require a waiver, correct?
No, it's restoration.
Okay, yeah. All right, motion to close, issue permits, work and order conditions for 7 Elderberry Drive with the recommendations noted in the staff report dated June 13th, 2019, with the following amendments. We're gonna allow for maintenance of the BBW shrubs to max height of 4 feet to maintain viewscape. We're gonna allow for 1 cutting of the meadow each November, and other maintenance of the meadow and mitigation areas as noted in the narrative. We're gonna allow for a 5-foot path through the mitigation area to allow for dock access. The patio modifications shall be shown on a revised plan, including the westernmost outside edge of the proposed new fence, a 12-inch wide stone trench using 3/4-inch double wash stone down to a depth of native soils to help control runoff. I think that's it for.
Patios with cut stone grout.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the patio fill in between shall be cut stone. Shall not use the polymetric sand.
Cut sand,
Yeah, cut sand shall be used. And the patio, the new patio will require that 3/4-inch double wash stone down to the native soil depth. I think that's it.
Can we receive the
Second.
revised plan?
Oh,
Keep going on your vote.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can we receive the revised plan before the next meeting, like in the 21-day?
Oh,
certainly,
certainly.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for jumping on all over this.
No, thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
2 hard copies too, Frank? In addition to posting 2 hard copies for the office?
I'm sorry, I'm not.
In addition to posting the revised plan, will you provide 2 hard copies for the office?
Post it on the web, yeah.
Thanks.
Certainly. And could you email me a copy of those conditions so I
Yes.
can make sure that they're addressed on the plan?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. It's a nice plan to have, I think. Alrighty, 56 Highland Street.
I think we're continuing that.
That's continued? Oh, yep. It already has been continued?
It has been.
Okay, great.
The wetland line needs to be reestablished.
Okay. 29 Shady Rest Road. There he is. Evening.
What's happening?
Yes.
Oh,
Back again.
it's been a while.
Oh, yeah, let me forget that for a sec.
I think it's so loud.
It's so loud.
I have revised plans and then a waiver letter as well.
I'm gonna get you one of those little spritzer fans.
Okay.
Just hanging right on the mantle there.
Oh, today. So I won't put the one you have post, you didn't post it, right? Oh, you did post it.
Oh, yeah.
Damn,
We're quick.
you are quick. I just didn't notice, so I apologize, I didn't update my
no
staff
problem.
report. Yes. I got the abutters. He handed them to me. Didn't he hand it to you? You're on your way.
No, I
You're
did
in the
not.
process of handing it.
What do you take, the white ones?
I'll take whichever ones you want to give me.
They're all yours.
Thank you.
This looks like an enlarged system.
It is.
Holy moly.
Okay. Plan, revised plan received and a waiver request.
So what's up with Highland Street?
Oh, we gotta continue. Something about the wetland line.
Okay. Let me just take a peek.
Alright, take us through your project.
Alrighty, for the record, Peter Lyons with Collins Engineering Group, representing the homeowner for a septic repair, 29 Shady Rest Road. We have a drainage easement with a mean high water mark delineated in blue at the northern limit of the property. The 100-foot inner riparian limit is right here. Basically cuts through the proposed system. On the site we found kind of troublesome soils with silty loams down to 80 and 80 inches. So we're removing to a depth of 84 inches, which is a rather large strip out. The proposed field is 25 by 41 feet. What we're doing is grabbing the existing pipe coming out of the house to a new 2,000 gallon septic tank and a 1,500 gallon pump chamber. This is a 5-bedroom design, and it's not going to be a raised system, but just to work with the existing plumbing is why we really needed the pump. The system is component-wise all outside of the 50-foot buffer to the wetlands. We do have erosion control and proposed dewatering inside of the 50-foot buffer. The primary reason for that, obviously, is we just don't have space to do anywhere else. We have a stockpile area on this side, which, when it comes down to it, that could be used, interchangeably. If there's not a stockpile here, they could do the dewatering there. But we prefer to do the dewatering pits over the test pits. And one reason for that is, you're kind of fluffing up all the soil beneath it already. So it's going to let, everything drain a little better than with the natural silt loam that's present there. So based on the comment letter, we specified a dewatering pit detail, and we spec'd out a location just next to the tanks. It is a big strip out for the field, as well as a deep strip out for the tank. So really this whole area has the potential to require dewatering. Other than that, we show erosion control around the entire project, wrapping back up to the 100-foot buffer. We show a series of looks like 7 conservation posts and medallions with the detail on the plan. We're not anticipating, it looks like there might be a couple of small trees right along the pool house, but other than that, the existing system is underneath this, so it's all lawn right now. It's going to be going back to lawn once it's done. As mentioned, no significant change in grade.
Yeah, and you guys
about a half a foot higher in this back corner or so, but nothing noticeable.
Okay.
Our only concern with wetland impact is, during construction, and we feel that our erosion control and dewatering pits will mitigate that.
Okay.
Any other questions, concerns from the commission?
Let's see, the existing structures in the jurisdiction. So I guess, was the pool and the pool house and all that stuff previously approved? We don't know.
No record of any approvals on this site. So the question was how old is it? Is there any proof as to when things were built?
Not that I know of. I just read your review letter a little while ago. I haven't gotten to speak with anyone about the history of, I don't know if it's the current owner that did the pool or 3 owners ago.
Is this a failed system?
I would imagine, yes.
It's an upgrade,
Yeah.
so it's going to fail.
Yeah. Well, I was saying, if it's failed, it's got to be done. If it's not failed, we could ask them to come back in so we can talk about that stuff.
I mean, it's not a I'm trying to dig up a Title V report, but yeah, I mean, they're not doing it just because they got money to blow. So it's either currently
either
a failure
selling it or
they're anticipating
right.
it. I would think that it's due to a sale, is what most of the stuff that comes through us.
So this is not working for the 1 week that I get my staff reports up on Friday at noon. They didn't get read.
Let's see, when was it built?
No.
I appreciated it.
I didn't check the assessor's office myself either. I didn't check building department for building permits, because
Okay, it was built.
everybody gets those done.
It was built in '73,
The original house.
the original house. Last sold in '87.
And so 87 is a date that is by law.
Right.
So, you know, is it likely that the porch and the pool house were built since 86? There's no way to know.
Bag that is.
It's your bag?
It's not mine, I don't know.
It's not a phone.
I shut mine off when I'm inside.
Pretty cool.
So I don't know. I
Okay.
don't have any information on that right now.
Mm.
As far as how you want to handle it, I mean,
Well, we got to get the septic system fixed.
If he goes in, if you could hold it to the meeting of the 15th. You could issue with a condition that a notice of intent be submitted within the next 30 days, because they already have an engineer on, you know, but they just have to change. You already did the work. You've already located everything. You just have to do the research. So submitting a notice of intent in the next 30 days.
Either a notice of intent or proof that it was built pre-'86.
Yeah. And if they don't, then they go straight into enforcement, because it'll be in Meticular file.
okay, now can I just recommend we kind of handle these things independently?
It's in your best interest, but the commission has to decide whether or not they want to issue and then lose you and have to go into a possible enforcement mode, or
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be in their interest to.
We'll do what we can to assist our client. You know, my concern is we come in for a septic repair, and that's, you know, we budget to do a septic repair, and you know, it's not really on us to do a full research of the property
No, you're right.
no.
to say
so
there's existing.
from
you know,
from your perspective, when I write a staff report that asks for information that's out of your scope, that's an amendment to your scope of work. If his project was fully in compliance, you have every reason to believe his site would be in full compliance. But it's an amendment to your scope of work when we ask for something that
Sure.
is out of the ordinary.
Yep.
It shouldn't have been part of your proposal.
No, and it's never is, but.
So the filing deadlines are the 15th, August 5th, and August 26th.
Yeah. Do you have an idea of when they were trying to get the work done?
I would think sooner
Soon as
than
possible,
later.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, typically.
I can hold this, I review the septic plans. I can put a hold on the septic.
On like approval of the as built or whatever.
Approval of, yeah, they can't flush without it. Approval of the as-built plan for the septic.
Okay. I'm good with that. Get them in here for a meeting, or at least talk to you.
Yep, filing deadline.
Because I'm just thinking, because like the 15th is a month away.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
we don't
doable.
want to.
It's
Yeah.
a filing deadline of
Right.
the 15th.
No, there's no meeting on July 1st.
Yeah, I assumed you couldn't make the July 1st. So I mean, July 1st is an option, but I assumed you couldn't make it.
What did we cancel July 1st?
The meeting,
but
you
the
did a long time
filing's the
ago.
15th.
Oh, right. All right. I think I would be on board with approving this project with approval of the septic pending proof or filing notice intent for the appurtenances. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm okay with that as long as we get
Bill?
the information.
I'm fine.
Dan? Okay.
The one thing is that there's a fair amount of debris that's in the wetlands,
Okay.
or yeah, some of it's in the wetlands.
In the wetlands.
Yeah, not just in the buffer. So.
Okay. All right, so let's add the condition that they remove debris from applicant
I
or
mean, there's gas
homeowner.
tanks and
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh,
all
gosh.
sorts of
All right.
stuff that's in the wetlands.
Is there any particular area we want to reference, or just?
So there's the two biggest ones are to the northeast of the northeast corner of the pool. So yeah, and then to the north of the pool, outside. No, over a little bit to your left. Right in.
The edge of the wetlands.
Yeah, so it's probably not in the wetlands.
In the wooded
there. It's
area?
probably just in that area there.
Okay.
What
So
about,
I'll just say that homeowner removes debris from the wetlands and
what's
wooded
that
areas.
north there, is it a drainage swale?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. The drainage comes from the road, empties out here, and then
It was a stream the day I was there.
Is it like
Oh,
all
man.
stuff coming from catch basins and stuff?
It
Like
must be because
cups
I
and-
went up to see where it's coming from and it was there wasn't.
It's got,
Must be the drainage pipe must
They're
be
likely
somewhere.
not
but-
throwing gas tanks in their
it shows a
backwoods.
drainage, it shows a drainage pipe on his
Maybe.
plan
Yeah.
from the
I wouldn't mind being
street
at that party.
to where the word drainage is.
Yep.
That's a pipe, and then it,
Okay.
and then it opens up.
Yeah.
And what's there for, Roy, what'd you see there for vegetation from the pipe on? Because it's, what is it, a piece of, is it a concrete pipe, RCP pipe?
Yeah.
And then what happens with the vegetation after that?
Just
It's
looks like a
Andrew,
stream.
we're saying
Okay.
proof or NOI
It's
by
wooded.
July 1st.
It's wooded with
July
just
1st or
It is
July
bare
15th?
ground underneath.
So it's not a
right
wet-
next to
July
the-
1st is only
Not
2
considered
weeks.
a wet-
I don't know what kind of
Not
work
right
you guys
there.
have.
No.
Not right
You can
there.
do
We're
it?
busy, but I mean, we can
But
probably do
further
it.
on.
July
if
1st would be
something comes
great.
up, like
Okay,
it's-
yeah, because then we
Okay.
could actually tackle it on the 15th.
Yeah,
Once
I'm
you
sure
get
they
the
want to get
back
it
part
done.
of the property,
I would
yes.
imagine they're probably trying to sell it.
okay.
They bought it in '87. Kids are all probably grown. All right, so I'm good on this one. Any public comment on 29 Shady Rest? Yes, please.
So I'm looking at the site, so I was just calculating, what, you're going down about 80 inches, you said to remove all the material in there.
Correct.
Gonna be going, what is the size of it? So you're going about 36 by 52 feet.
Yep.
Removing that, so I was calculating, you're taking out over 500 yards of material out of there. So I'm just
do that by
looking
hand?
at how you get in there, because I'm looking at, I know Shady Rest pretty well, I'm just, obviously the trucks are gonna have to come in,
I would imagine they're gonna have to come in that south side of the house.
yeah, on the driveway. Are they,
Yeah, I'm
I just like to know how they're proposing to do it, because it's important when they come in there, you know, if they come in on the north side.
They can't. There's
They
trees.
can't, yeah.
There's trees and
They got to come
there's
in
a
the
couple of
south side.
plantings over on that side of the
Yeah, 'cause
house.
they got the driveway going up to the back of the garage.
Yeah, what they'll probably do is dig out and place the tanks first,
Yeah.
and then start on the D box end of the field, dig it out and replace it, and eventually the excavator will end up, sitting in or on
Right.
the stockpile area, and probably just spinning buckets into the
Working
truck
out.
at the end of the driveway.
Yeah, because they'll probably put the 2,000 gallon tank in first, so they can right away use their.
Yeah, because the excavators can't carry that, so they need the tank truck to set it. So they'll have to get around the back of the house with the truck.
Well, they could split it. How big? If they have like even 160,
Um,
they can split a 2,000.
No, and if we spec a monolithic tank, which I don't think it is, but yeah, I mean, either way, it's going to be coming in from this side.
Yeah, because that'd be real tough to get a truck back there. But anyway,
Yeah.
Mike, what's going to probably happen because you're taking out, what's the soil's really silty, heavy
Yes.
soil.
Yeah, we got a silt loam, so very compact.
All right, so
Fine
it's gonna
stuff.
be, it's gonna have water and a little moist.
Yes, we're
Yeah, so it's gonna be
anticipating
heavy.
that.
So the point I'm getting to is when these, to take the material out there, you're not gonna be able to get a trailer in there. You're gonna have to take everything out in triaxles or 10-wheelers. So when they back up on this driveway, they're gonna probably destroy it, I would think, because that's, you're talking about 80,000 pounds, 70, 80,000 pounds when the truck's fully loaded, weight of it.
So he needs a different erosion control barrier
Well,
than
no, I'm
usual?
just thinking what's going to happen is the driveway right now is.
They're going to be coming back for repaving.
Exactly, that's what I'm getting at.
So are you saying we should approve repaving?
That's what I'm getting at, yeah.
I mean, yeah, because it's what, only a little bit into the 100-foot and it's existing.
Yeah, it
I'm
may
okay
or
with
may
packaging
not
that in.
be required.
Yeah, but we should just, you might as well
Might as well.
prove it here.
That's a really good idea, Bill.
Right.
Yeah,
What,
sure.
you're looking at
Where does it
trucks
come-
coming in, you're looking
What's
at
that?
coming in and
Oh.
coming out.
Well, how many
Time to
truckloads is
find
500
the driveway
yards?
entrance.
Yeah, it's right
Oh,
here.
triaxles, you're probably talking, tries usually hold about
To
20
the shed?
yards, they say,
There.
21
Yeah.
yards, so you're
Okay.
looking at
25
25
truckloads.
in, I'm out and in.
Yeah,
That's a lot of weight being
Yeah,
dispersed back
true.
and forth, back and forth.
right.
I think it's just gonna crumble, but
Okay.
yeah.
Allowed to
Yeah, I
repave
mean,
within
it's-
footprint?
I don't know
Yeah.
the condition of it right now, but yeah, if anything, it would be repairing back to its original.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll say allowed to repair or repave driveway and existing footprint.
See,
Okay.
you're
Yep.
thinking like me. Good. Thinking ahead.
Okay. Anything else, Bill?
No, I'm just
Good point.
concerned about, but I know just how you're saying how they're gonna build it. They're gonna put the tanks and work their way out, load the trucks, but it's narrow over there. What about the shed though? That's the last, so, does the shed have to be moved to get the trucks in there? I know it's.
Oh, the shed off the driveway.
Yeah,
It
it looks real tight.
That
looks
does
like
look
you go
tight.
about 15 feet.
Yeah.
So
Do we know if that's
Looks like it's small.
what kind of construction it is?
the shed? I don't know. 8 by.
If it
10 or
got
12.
reconstructed exactly in the same place,
Yeah.
you'd never know.
Right.
But can they just, if they had to, can they pick it up, move it out of the way
Sure.
with the machine?
I would
Yeah,
think so.
almost
Yeah.
always, unless
Right,
it's
okay.
100 years old and it
Right.
crumbles. You
Okay.
know, in which case
So,
it goes in the dumpster.
In which case, shall we say, if shed off driveway is destroyed,
You can move it.
you can rebuild the same footprint?
Yeah, I'm okay with that too.
I'm fine with that, yeah.
Okay. If shed, adjacent to driveway, because there's like several sheds. May be rebuilt.
Relocated.
Yep, or relocated on existing. Okay. All right. So, motion to close and issue permit to work in order of conditions for 29 Shady Rest Road with the conditions noted in the staff report dated June 14th, 2019, with the additional conditions that the homeowner removes debris from the wetlands and wooded areas. And we are also allowing for repair or repavement of the driveway and its existing footprint. And if the shed that's adjacent to the driveway needs to be removed, it may be temporarily relocated. And if it's destroyed during that process, the homeowners may rebuild on the current footprint once the septic system is complete. And this approval, the final approval of the septic system itself will be contingent upon the homeowner providing proof or a notice of intent for the in-ground pool and structures in the buffer zone by July 1st.
Complete notice of intent or proof by
Right.
July 1.
I
Great.
second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks,
Bill.
sir. Bill's all over it
Bill's a
today.
second.
He's on fire.
He's our second.
Bill's on fire.
Bill's our septic and second machine.
Thanks, Peter.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, sir. Have a good one.
Good to see you again.
You as well.
All right, 58 Mill Street.
I think this didn't get continued.
That's
I
huge.
asked and asked and asked and asked and
Frank.
asked and asked.
I never signed in earlier.
You here by yourself, Frank?
I am.
Oh.
Okay.
Should be quick.
So it gives it some kind of structure.
Where is it?
Oh, man. Keith, you need a minute of AC?
I'm gonna get,
I missed the beginning of that.
I'm just gonna get another
Towards the end.
another
Take your
cup.
coat off. It's so hot in here.
Another cup.
I got a dry cleaner now, ready, so. Okay, make this very, very short
'Kay.
and to the point. I would like to present the commission 2 copies of a plan that was uploaded very recently.
Last week.
Deshang Wang prepared a plan, a blow-up of the area that you were questioning along some sections. That has been uploaded, and I just wanted to present the paper copies.
Okay.
I understand that the consultants, for whatever reason, have not been able to come up with their full reviews yet. So in light of that, since we do not have their reviews to respond to, we would like a continuance until the next available meeting.
Couple quick questions. So I was reviewing the minutes. Has the updated flood map been requested to FEMA or submitted to FEMA?
I believe Dr. Wang has done that. I cannot say with certainty because Dr. Wang is the one that's handling all the floodplain issues.
All right. I guess if we get a follow up on that,
I
that'd be
will
great.
follow up with him on that and make
Do
sure
you
it
guys
has been
know what the
submitted.
time frame it typically takes?
Well, there's 2 things happening. FEMA makes their decision, it's independent.
Yeah.
But bordering land subject to flooding isn't just what the FEMA border would be.
Mm-hmm.
So LEC was asking for the information on, that would be the FEMA map data as well as the, I guess that's all they're saying here.
Okay.
Did you get this, I think I asked to have that sent out to all
Yeah.
commissioners, that's what Woodard and Curran and LEC are asking for in terms of additional information, and the FEMA information is part of that.
Okay.
Does the applicant have one now?
Yeah, I sent it to Frank and the applicant this afternoon.
Incidentally, I am 95% positive that a lot of that information has already been submitted and was
Great.
uploaded. I know that again, the floodplain issues was something that Dr. Wang prepared.
Okay.
And I'm relatively certain that that information has been uploaded already, but I will
think
double
he's-
check. And if
He's
it-
asking to have it on the plan.
Huh?
He's asking to have it on the plan so that it's really easy
It
to
is
see.
on the plan.
Okay.
Yes, that information is on the plan.
Now, was there,
So you've worked with Mark before, Mark
Yes.
Manganello. If he didn't see it, then take a second look at it.
It's definitely on the plan. In fact, all the elevation contours are on it, on the plan as well. The floodplain elevations are shown on the plan.
Okay. So we'll pass that on and hopefully you can find it, I guess.
Yep.
And then the conservation restriction document, do you know if that's been worked on yet at all, or?
I do not know if that's been worked on
Okay.
yet.
That's all I had for follow-up questions. Do you guys
Okay.
have anything?
no, just a point of information, that was the first applicant file that I've seen, and I could be, maybe I just didn't see them before, that's the first one I've seen the peer review contract actually, was just, I wasn't used to seeing it there today.
What number is
I'm
it?
sorry?
The peer review contract?
Not the contract, I don't have a question about that, obviously it's happening and we want it, all that, just the first time I saw it loaded in a file like that.
It's a option on every single one of them. Generally, I tend to think that how much a person charges for the work is proprietary information. So I'm not a big fan of putting them on, but it's available for the applicant to see.
Yeah, I just, again, it was something unusual, so.
Now it's done in planning all the time.
I think it's good that anyone of the public can look on the site and see how much people are having to pay for their reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any public comment on 58 Mill Street? Nope. All right. Motion to continue 58 Mill Street to July 15th.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Frank. Thanks for
Oh, I
the
just heard
updates.
somebody say something, I think they said turn the air conditioner on.
You could have been mistaken.
Yeah, I might have been mistaken, I thought I said that. Someone said it, yeah.
So we had difficulty with this project because these are consultants that we haven't used with conservation before.
Okay.
So they weren't in the modules. So while Greg paid the deposit as soon as I requested it, the applicants, the peer reviewers, weren't able to get access to the online application for like a week. And actually, LEC is working out a contract because they're a brand new consultant for us. So if he's concerned that there was a delay, they actually were working pretty darn fast because of the level of information that we have.
I thought they have in past years, LEC's done work for us, haven't they?
LEC's never been a consultant for the Conservation
No.
Commission.
Oh, maybe they've done work elsewhere in the town.
No, they've been in front of us a bunch of times.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
oh yeah, I know they've been in front, but maybe they worked for another department in town doing something.
Not since
A sub, they've been a sub.
Yeah, no, they've only been
They've been subs.
Subs.
for
Yeah, the only
applicants.
peer reviewers we have dealt with before this was Nova, which is more up to
All right.
debate. I think that's-
38 Serenade Park.
He's probably not coming.
Okay.
This is a generic, this is a
RCOC.
generic subdivision project where the actual house on 38 Serenade Park, which is part of Tanglewood, had a certificate of compliance issued for the house construction, but in the sale of the house, they found that a order of conditions associated with the subdivision itself was never released. So it's generic. And the the certificate of compliance for the house was actually issued in 2004.
Okay. But there's no issues.
No. Because it's
Guys?
the road's been, I think Serenade's already been accepted as a
Okay.
road.
Any public comment on 39 Serenade Park? Seeing none. Motion to issue RCOC for 38 Serenade Park.
Complete.
Complete.
Oh, no, partial, just for this site. Partial for this site.
Partial just for this site.
Yeah.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
He beat you to it.
You know, he's quick.
Bill got like 3 in today.
Yeah, I did.
Billy.
I'm all over it.
Quick hand Bill.
Quick hand, Bill.
2-second Bill.
All right. I didn't notice anything on the minutes. Did you guys? The minutes? Or
I was fine on.
wait, over under?
No, 521, did that get corrected? Because 521 actually got 233 thrown into it
Wow.
by mistake. I bet.
233 thrown into it.
50,
Yes.
51 did? Sorry, 520.
521. We do have 233R on here, but that.
Or maybe it was on 6-3, there was something that was said about 233 that wasn't 233.
It was out of place.
Well, we did have a hearing on 233.
We did.
On
Oh, yeah, we did. It was just something earlier that was purported, and I should have made a note, but I assumed that it would handle that. Something-
That's nice.
You have the...
I didn't notice it. Yeah, here.
Just take
Okay.
On 6-3, I think that there was a suggestion here on 11 Old Farm Road, in the last sentence, and Keith, I'll give this to you, that there's a sentence here that says, we talked about the proposed fence line across the back of the property is better than, it says 50 feet away from the wetlands, and it's actually 25 feet from the intermittent stream. So
Okay.
I don't think we're 50, I think we split the difference.
Oh, no, this isn't May. No, do you have the other one? Yeah.
This is June 3rd.
Yeah, June 3rd's the one that's right near the beginning. I want to say it's 58 Mill Street, where it's interposed.
Dan, is O'Shaughnessy here tonight for your stuff at all?
I don't think he is.
Okay.
Old Farm.
Is just Frank's here for that?
I'll hand it to you.
Okay, all right.
What's that? It should be 25 feet from the intermittent stream, the fence line.
It's in 11. In 11 Old Farm.
Yeah, here it is. You ready, Keith? Okay.
Which day?
We are on the June minutes. We are on page 3. About halfway down, right in the middle, it says, Goodman asked for any public comment on 233R Lincoln Street. So that would be, Goodman asked for public comment on 59, 58 Mill, which leads to under that, it should be 58 and not 59.
Cool.
Who knows what that Brockman lady, what that'll lead to.
There's that one I don't care about. No, I meant to go back and see what I said. I'd like to delete this sentence, unless somebody can tell me what I said. It says, Caulfield's noted that the ORAD was issued in July of 2015, but the wetland is worse now, having the proposed trench addresses any excess water coming off Goodspeed Estates. I don't remember the first part of that, I remember the second part. Does anybody know what I said?
This is May,
Middle of page 4.
in May?
I think it's the June 3rd.
June 3rd, yeah.
Oh.
Does anybody mind if we strike that, just because I don't know?
Read
I
that.
didn't say the wetland was worse now, because I have no frame of reference.
Okay.
No, I don't, no, you didn't say
Alright, so
that.
we'll just strike that portion of it.
Yeah, so we can just strike, but the wetland is worse now.
Mm-hmm,
Well, I'll just but the wetland is worse now. So
Just that part.
mm-hmm.
Alright.
And, I think, once again, in a sentence on the COC for 26 Miller Road, where it says there's nothing wrong with that. I think I probably said that, but I don't want it in the minutes that I said that.
All right.
I was really just making the commission be aware that we were discharging the sump onto the gravel.
Delete the sentence.
Just delete that phrase, there's nothing wrong with that. No, this is just me being picky, that's all. I'm
Alright,
sorry.
motion to accept 5/21 and 6/3/2019 minutes as amended.
Second.
All's in favor?
Michael,
Aye.
at the,
Aye.
at the meeting on the June 3rd, you said you had a lot of edits to May, and that you,
No, on 5/21.
on 5/21, yeah, you said you had a
Yeah.
lot of edits.
No, I didn't. No, I said that, but I don't.
Oh, okay,
Sorry, yeah,
okay,
yeah. I did state that, but I don't.
okay,
Alright.
okay.
Alright, so 233R Lincoln.
So they can
So you guys
vote-
closed this one last time.
Right, so this is an opportunity to deliberate with no public comment, with no response from people. It's just you, the board, talking to yourselves.
Alright.
I drafted the, I drafted, and you have in your documents, but not electronic, you have, in your binder, you've got the order of conditions, special conditions, and the order of conditions permit for work. And in this case, they are the same. So they're written the same. There's no different conditions in the permit than there is in the order. So, what?
Is it Lincoln Estates?
It's Lincoln, yeah. So it starts out with the
Lincoln
definitive.
Estates 2, yeah.
Yep, Lincoln Estates 2. So, as in a normal standard conditions, it starts out with the documents that will be referenced in the order, and then more and more often, you'll see me expanding on the findings, because it makes for a more effective order. It's easier to interpret what you guys are trying to do. But you absolutely have to read it, because I was trying to interpret what you guys might, how you might vote tonight, and so this was my interpretation, and my recommendation. Standard conditions are standard conditions, but the special conditions refer to stormwater management, who maintains it, that it's the stormwater system construction should be inspected both by myself during key times to make sure that they get the excavation right, they get the pipes done right, but also we very specifically say the professional engineer has to inspect it to get the elevations
Correct.
correct, and obviously those proper elevations with the certification would be part of the certificate of compliance.
Is that 42, Andrea?
It is, no, it's actually special condition 2, which is inspection.
It's on the very front page.
And then, the stormwater is annually inspected by the two homeowners in maintenance and repair. And then we just we reference back to a planning board, rather clear description of how to do that. And then what Rory picked up on, what I'm trying to do in almost all subdivisions, any increase or relocation of the proposed structure showed on the revised plans.
Could you say what condition?
Number 4, I'm just going over, I'm just identifying 1, 2, 3, 4. That the fourth condition is that we have on subdivision plans, we often have conceptual foundations, and in this case, conceptual septic system locations without any design. And so your approval, I suggest, would be fine. It's approved unless there's any change. And then it needs to come in for some level of review and approval. It could be a minor mod, it could be an amendment, it depends on what it is.
Makes
But
sense.
you'll see later on tonight in my environmental plan updates that those conceptual foundations come back. They get messy. So it's only about the stormwater. The findings identify the limitations we have on evaluating the wetland boundary. And I tried to put some limits on what we did not review as a wetland boundary, so that we don't give that section of the wetland life, that we're not saying we've approved a section of wetland that we've had no reason to be near.
Where was that?
In the first paragraph of the findings.
Which document? Sorry.
It doesn't matter, they're both the same.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So I don't know if you guys have any other conditions. I was really kind of surprisingly numb on which conditions to add to this project.
Andrew, under erosion control under 32.
Yeah.
It says erosion control shall consist of silt socks, properly installed trench, etc. But then it talks about silt fence.
Yeah,
So-
this is a standard. I usually change this. How would you like it? I usually put erosion control into the special conditions because this is kind of generic.
Haven't we been going with the?
Biodegradable compost silt socks?
Yeah.
Sure. I'll make that change.
Oh, specifying it.
Although you'll see that I'm asking for silt fences, the actual fence, when we're in water, because of the experience we've had.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, yep.
What's the experience?
That when the silt sock goes in the water, it's really hard to get out of the water. And
Without breaking it?
without heavy machinery.
Yeah, it
Oh,
won't
we had
fall
to
apart, it's just.
pull
to
that
get-
one through at good speed,
Yeah.
right?
So
Yeah.
a silt fence actually is meant for that situation.
Absolutely.
Because the water goes right through the silt fence but holds the sediment in place. So it's actually easier
And better.
for
And when there's
everybody.
a lot of running water, you always want to double the silt fence. You
Yeah,
put it
that-
in, and you go with another one right after it, yeah.
You'll see that coming up in the next set of conditions, Bill. I'll put a double before you get a chance to see them.
continuing conditions. And I think we probably want to impose organic gardening, no pesticide, no herbicide.
Okay. And so, I'll find that and then put a statement that this is a perpetual condition.
Yeah.
And you wanna do, give them the sustainable lawn practices?
Yeah, please. Yeah, I just want to say no synthetic or chemical herbicide or pesticide. I guess without commission approval.
Usually it says no.
Okay.
Usually says
boom.
just don't use it. And it's usually low release fertilizer and pesticides and herbicides of a low concentration.
Mhm. Do we, just like we did with the other one, do we want to say that they may use the natural herbicide composed of vinegar, salt, and dish soap?
Don't we have a standard thing, since that was like one of our first rulings? Remember we did
She was just talking about giving them.
about Sullivan, remember Bay Road?
Mm-hmm.
Guy
Yep.
with the 19 acres, and he was the first person that I experienced on it. Thought we had something else, and then we gave it to the,
Yeah, that's what she was talking
yeah, the
about.
gentleman over by.
The maintenance
Yeah,
manual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was created for a Meeting House Lane project that went into an enforcement action, so it was written by a consultant. And then we gave that to a landscaper who was an applicant, and then he modified it. And now we're using that version.
Yeah. But it came up with Mr. Noonan's property that there's poison ivy creeping up from the inside, and I've actually had pretty good success using the mixture of just the natural herbicide to knock out poison ivy.
Yeah.
What do you use?
Vinegar, salt, and dish soap.
But you know the amounts, you'll text me that?
Yeah, I'll
Or
text
you
it
just
to you.
spray it up? Just.
Yeah,
Or get a billy goat.
or get a billy goat. Either way.
Yeah, but it keeps coming back with the billy goat.
Right.
where-
Keep feeding the billy goats.
How
Is
long
it
does it
in?
kill it for?
I don't even, is poison ivy in?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
How quickly does it
no,
die?
it's no,
Within a couple days.
it's virulent all year
Vinegar?
round.
Yeah.
Fish
I'll
You
text
can
it
get
to
it
you. I'm
from,
gonna text
some
it
of
later.
us can get it
It's a gallon
from
of
the
vinegar,
stems and the,
Really?
and
cup
yeah,
of salt,
and the roots.
and a tablespoon of dish soap.
Wow.
Knocks out everything. Don't put it on grass.
Oh,
Speaking,
really?
Yeah.
Those weeds too.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Did we discuss at all invasive species management on this property?
Do they have invasives?
No, we didn't.
Yes, there's Japanese knotwood on that property.
Yeah.
Okay. What areas?
It's definitely over on the east side of this property along, I saw two
Okay.
bunches on this side of the property.
All right. So yeah, I think we do want to have them manage invasives by basically cutting the knotweed. I mean,
Yeah,
well, I
I
guess.
think knotweed, you're supposed to pull and pull and pull.
Pull and pull and pull, right.
Keep on pulling and then
Is
pull
that the
some
same
more.
species that was over on, off of Center Street?
I can assure
Yeah.
you, you've seen it everywhere
Yeah.
you've been.
that was the
You've
stuff
seen
that was
it.
all in the end.
Yeah.
But I remember
Yeah, right.
over there, the guy was supposed to stop pulling, and there's no pulling.
So how about if we ask for a plan that he start implementing at a certain date? That he come up with a plan for getting it done?
Yeah.
That
And
he submits?
Okay.
okay. With invasive management plan.
Rory, have you ever tried to remove the stuff in?
I've only seen
I
the
never-
seminars,
Yes.
actually, I've never.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tough.
Is it hard to do?
Pull, and then.
Mm-hmm.
And then do it again next growing
And
season?
then, well, people have had some success, then tarp it, and then bury the tarp under chips or rocks or gravel or riprap or whatever you got hanging around, and even then it doesn't.
Yeah,
I thought
it's the
you
worst
had
one
a,
out there.
Bill, I remember you being out in the field giving advice to a landowner on how to get rid of it.
On that specific? Well, I was over the one where, what's the one off on the left on Canton Street?
Oh, right on Picker Lane?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one I looked at and I just,
That was the one with the, that was the one
I
with the
walked
everything.
away.
Yeah,
that was,
Yeah.
I don't know even why.
yeah.
Which one was it I was?
That was the order.
Prospect.
Limit one to the limit of work.
Prospect.
Do we,
Was it
Do we have
more than
one?
3 hours ago?
I think so.
Mhm.
Then I won't remember it.
Proposed limit of clearing.
yeah, I only see the limit of clearing. What's the purple?
On which plan are you? Which sheet?
Solid purple post-construction flow path.
5.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking about the solid purple?
No. Post-construction.
It's the drainage. It's the drainage flow calculations. I often find 4 to be the
I don't
to have
think
the
I have
least
it.
amount of craziness or clutter, maybe.
Siltation control fence, okay.
Do you have 4 up? Is that 4?
That's 4.
Do we have a limit of work on there?
Right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh, I see.
It's right along the wetland line. Whoosh. And then it goes over to here. And then it's along the property line on
On one of them.
going north-south.
Yeah.
Wait, it's on this one too, I can see it now.
Yeah. It's the same information. No.
It only goes to the 100-foot line.
On this one, it goes to up here. So I guess we could say to the limit of work and the limit of cutting. Because that's what that was, proposed limit of clearing.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna say that they limit the lawn area to the limit of work and the limit of clearing.
Limit of work and limit of clearing? I see nothing. I don't see a limit of clearing.
It's the green squiggly.
No, it's a
It's
different
not
plan.
on this one, it's
Which
on
plan are you
5.
on? 5?
5.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm concerned that we don't have enough information on the grading, but, I think that, they've really gotta respect the limit of work.
I agree. I guess I'm just disappointed that we didn't get to have a hearing with our consultant here like we'd agreed 2 meetings ago. So, little grievance I'd like to air there. We had a plan, we deviated.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I mean, I think that, I just, I'm not against this plan. I think the applicant has been, has tried to do the best possible with the property that he has. I am not happy with where we are on this. I think we prematurely closed this meeting without enough information. I don't think we have enough information on the stormwater. It may or may not be sufficient. That's one of the biggest problems with this, especially since we're right up against the wetland. The wetland line, this may not even be the wetland anymore. And the fact that we don't have, grading on the lot 1 property. I don't think we have a final design there. It's, considering we're right up against the buffer zone there as well. Any other plan, we would have asked them to come back with additional information.
Well, hey,
I'm airing that is that
What we
I'm
got
not
is-
against the plan.
right.
I'm not against the project, but I think where we are is insufficient information.
Well, we're beyond that point, so.
No, we're not. We're voting on it tonight.
And the line that we have is the line that we have.
No, insufficient information. We don't have the stormwater, we don't have the grading. Okay, so there was information brought forth about the wetlands that we chose to bury. Okay, so from my standpoint, if this was a project that came before us with this set of facts, we would be asking the applicant to come back with additional information, and we chose not to at the last meeting. And that's the vote we took. I'm simply saying that any other plan that was put forth in front of us with this set of information, it is not approvable.
Yeah, I don't like not having grading.
I mean, they'll say you have grading, it's just that it's at a scale that makes it difficult to.
Where is the grading?
Where would the grading show?
No,
well,
I see grading on all the roadway.
Yeah, it's along the roadway,
Right,
it's along
but for the
the
houses?
swales,
Oh,
but not in the houses.
Right.
Not for the roadway, like not for the driveway right in front of the house.
There's no grading. Maybe there's just no grading. And they'll get it, and its certificate of compliance will find that there is grading. But that's one of the reasons for the condition that says any change, any increase or relocation of the proposed structures. Maybe you should identify
And
grading.
I think so.
So that's special condition 4.
Number 4.
Or extent of grading. Or extent of new grading, post grading, whatever it is.
Can I just ask a point of information as well? Andrea, maybe you can help me with this. If the vernal pool gets certified, what happens here?
In future filings, first of all, you need the permission of the landowner to get onto the site to certify. So it may never get certified.
I see.
But if the landowner does give certification, gives the approval, it gets certified, then in future projects, it'll be reviewed. Obviously, potential vernal pool is a resource area for the local wetland regulations. I just want to, where did I just see this? Sorry, the existing culvert, it has the wrong order of conditions number. This threw me off in the first meeting. I'm sorry, I was a very bad manners that first meeting. But one of the things that threw me off about that meeting is that it's not in the most recent file. It's in a early one that didn't get carried over. So we have to, in our findings, we have to clarify where the culvert got approved, because the plan is incorrect. The order conditions that approve the culvert definition is in a 2004 superseding order that actually expired and but that's where that information comes from. I'll make sure I add that to the findings.
Maybe you guys can fill me in just as a point of information. In the minutes and everything, they were talking about how they purchased additional land to be able to move the driveway further from the BVW. What details did we get on that?
It's not shown on a plan.
And I guess, does this updated plan actually show it further from the BBW?
It is, but the plan came in, the notice of intent application came in with that land already purchased. So the reason I know it is because the earlier preliminary subdivision.
Okay, so he's
At the
talking about
planning
from
board
that
level.
point. Okay,
Yeah, so before you saw
right.
lot 5A, this,
Okay, yeah, 'cause I was confused by that. I wasn't sure if they had moved it since the previous meeting or.
no,
or
it
what.
happened before the application started. But what they did, I think you might be able to tell that if you look at the most recent stormwater, they actually elongated the swale and pushed it off of the wetland line and put in some drainage swales, some stone diaphragms on the southern side. So they put in, they kind of separated out the catchment areas so they had smaller structures taking less water. And I'm not going into any definition on that, I'm just using the most current
Was it
revision
rain
to the
gardens
plans.
in
Yeah,
there
it's
or
the
no?
6-3.
Wasn't it, those swells aren't rain gardens, right?
They are grassed.
Okay.
They are grassed with native grasses, but they're not true rain gardens.
Are you talking about the stone check dams?
And the wet swale, and on the south side, on the south side of the west property, there's the swale.
Yeah, and then they have
the
this.
most current.
Well, the most current should be the revised on the 3rd, I believe.
Revised May 30th.
So there's one for June 3rd online.
Posted June 3rd, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the one I see here, but it's not looking like the one I thought it was gonna look like.
Revised. Oh yeah, it says revised 5:30.
No, that's there.
Wetland replication area. All right, so, while we're out here, we don't have permanent markers, do we?
No. You almost don't want to put in permanent markers, in my opinion.
Huh?
Because the wetland
because the
line
wetland
may not
line
be
is-
where it is.
Yeah, the wetland line is questionable.
It'll probably change too, huh?
I know it's changed. I know it's changed.
That's a good point.
So when that pipe's lowered, will it de-water it more?
There's a whole lot of different conversations going on, but the fact is, every time I looked at, once the blue flags got replaced from a flagging that was done on a 2004 plan, I had wetland plants and water on both sides of it. So,
All right, so we have a wetland replication area. Do we have any other mitigation plantings or anything?
that was done, there's a staff report, that was done from an earlier, one of the earlier orders, and there's a staff report that says the area was successfully replicated.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I saw that staff report because I wouldn't have known.
So that's already been done.
It's been done. It's been done, and it's on the other side of the limit of work.
Right.
How's it doing?
It kind of looks like transitional upland to me.
So what was planted got taken over by what was indigenous?
Around.
Yeah.
So when the staff report was done, it was done, she was
Perfect,
saying you got your success rate and everything is good, but
And that changed.
time has a way of changing things.
The one thing about the.
There's no comment on that in this decision. It's over, it's done, it's shown as an existing replication area, and it's on the other side of the limit of work.
The one thing, I'm just sort of stuck on is the performance standards here. And I just don't see how it provides benefits in the public interest. I know that it's stated in the waiver request that purchasing this property moved the driveway further away from the wetlands, which was in the public interest, but that's really in the interest of the applicant.
Right.
Because it makes the project doable.
The way I wrote it was that they met the stormwater management standards to the maximum extent practicable, and that was in the public interest because you didn't otherwise, it's not required that a two lot have to follow the state regs, so
Okay.
so you
See,
required it, it's part of the,
Okay,
waiver.
So that makes sense.
I didn't
That makes me-
speak to
No,
adding
but,
land.
No, and I remember the applicant and the engineer did speak to the fact that while we weren't required to do this, we did it
Right. I remember that
anyway,
too.
so, I think that is, the one thing that I don't think that we've addressed, and it is that I don't know that we've gotten proof that we will not have significant adverse effects upon the wetland values. I think we may have, it may work out that way, I just don't think that we've got the evidence that is actually true.
Do you want to do that as a statement of fact in the findings, and that you don't believe the burden of proof was met?
I believe the project engineer.
Well, did the project engineer make that statement?
No, he designed the project, but he didn't speak to the, nobody ever went down the, all the different functions that a wetland performs
So-
in terms of prevention, pollution.
What if we just
Stormwater.
note, just because, a little bit of a CYA here, that the limitation of adverse effects to the wetland was not confirmed by the Conservation Commission's consultant.
The limitations on the adverse,
Right, something like that.
any
Yeah.
potential adverse effect, yeah. Not confirmed. But you can just say Easton Concom.
Okay.
We didn't.
All right. Is there anything else we want to be careful of here on this one? Bill, your experience with the wet swales and the forebays and the culverts and anything? Anything else that?
Well, you notice the land is so flat out there, because I walked it, a few times I've been out there. But, it's very flat, and I could see what their intentions are. They're trying to get all the water to go to those bays. And, they're cleaning up those, the mounds that are built.
Berms.
The berms, yeah. They're cleaning up that, because right now those are just blocking everything. So I think this is gonna control the water better. Because right now it's, those berms are actually hurting more than, I think they're put up there just for the neighbors' intention to
You're
block.
talking about on
Yeah.
this side of the
This
driveway?
side, yeah, right here,
This is the
behind,
right
Ernst and Colville. So, by controlling that, so you're getting that huge, swale in there, that is it a one bay? I can't tell, looking up like this, killing my neck.
Two stone
sorry
check
about
Is it a
that.
two
dams.
bay? I can't tell. Three bay? I can't tell.
Are you on the east? You're on the east.
Yeah, is it a two bay or three bay? I can't tell with the light smashing into my eyes here.
Oh.
But it's
Well, there's two check dams.
Okay.
You see the two,
Yeah,
you see
I do,
the
I
culvert.
do.
two check dams, and then
Yeah.
you have the equalizer pipe?
Yep, I do. Yep, okay, thank
Now,
you.
does that go, I don't see, I know there's gonna be a stone diaphragm on this side. I've heard of it, but I don't actually see it on this particular version. And this is actually a good, I'm not sure what that gray line is. I'm not sure what that gray line is, but this is this also, see the proposed 209 elevation?
Yes.
There's a real, right now, there's some low points, some low spot points of 205.9. You see existing gravel drive, and then.
Oh, yeah.
So what happened was they actually, at some point, building those berms, they actually dug
Yeah.
the drive below the seasonal groundwater elevation, and that's why they're ponding. So it's actually going to be elevated by 4 feet there, which should make the driveway dry.
And everything's gonna be leaning towards
The wetland coming
Is it
toward.
the wetland or going this way?
No, it's gonna
'Cause I
go
see
the other way.
209.
It's going the other way,
It's
right?
been redesigned to go to the wetland, and I think probably you might be able to see that best on a different
where's
Well,
that?
plan.
didn't they say? Didn't the
No, I see
narrative
it
say
here.
tilted to the south?
Oh, it looks like here, it's at 208. Oh, could you go back?
I'm looking at the cross section of the road.
Oh.
I'm going to the cross section of the road.
Okay.
At least I'm trying to go to the cross section of the road.
Well, you had it a second ago.
Did I
Yeah, go down a little bit, now go that way, okay.
go up?
Right there.
That's sheet 6. So
Oh,
that's their profile of the way. There it is,
Yeah, right
in the
there.
very corner.
Yeah, and can you make that larger right there? And
Yeah. I hope I keep it on the screen though.
there you go.
So Williams Way.
200.
Oh, I think this is Williams Way,
Yeah.
north-south. This is just from the intersection to Lincoln Street. That's of no use.
Oh, I need to see what these are.
We're talking about east-west. This is, see station 031, center line of Lincoln Street at the top.
Stone diaphragm.
Yeah, so this is the Lincoln Street north-south. So this is not what we're interested in. We're interested in the,
Oh, here we go.
yeah,
South,
a
north.
profile of the,
Yeah, it's
East-west.
tilted from the north to the south.
Which is the
Williams Way
which is
west
the way
and
we
Williams
want it
Way
to be.
east.
So it's.
So and that's towards the abutters.
which one are you on?
That's
Oh,
away
there
from the
they are,
wetland.
thank you.
Enlarge that where you just had that right there. Can you enlarge that there? So if you see,
So it's tilted
going this way. Yeah,
and
it
then this
is.
one is tilted either
yes,
side.
yeah, because you can see over here,
It's on,
it's
on,
08,
5,
and-
I think.
and then it goes down to 07.
Right.
Yeah, you're right,
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's on 4.
Yeah, it's
That's the way,
It's
that
right up
makes
here.
sense, yeah, and there it is,
That's the pipe
So we've
elevation
got-
doing the same thing, but the road would be following that, but
Sheet 4.
Yeah,
yeah,
north
it's-
to south.
Yeah,
so.
you're right, yep.
Why do you know it's north to south? Because I swear,
Um,
I'm not losing my mind.
Yeah.
The
where was I? Just saw. Oh yeah.
waiver did say
It
that
says,
it
it
went.
says north to
I think I'm
south.
pretty sure it says north to south in the
Oh,
waiver
oh.
too.
It is, it's going away from it.
I'm pretty sure it says it in the waiver too.
Williams Way is sloped to the south, not to the north. Cool. Thanks.
Slope to the south, not to the north. To maximize soil melting and minimize direct impact to the BVW.
Yeah, it did make sense, how's all the water gonna get, because that collector is the whole length of the drive road, or whatever you wanna call it, and it has to be tilting that way for it to be.
Well,
Right.
you should probably call it a road for the first 18, it's 18 feet of pavement in
right.
front of the wetland, the south side of the wetland, and then it tapers down to a smaller.
Gravel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's still,
What's the planning board calling it though, is it calling it, what do they call
they
it?
called it a drive. They called it a subdivision drive, and
Okay.
it's built to subdivision standards.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be gravel the rest of the way, all the way up to the houses and everything.
And he reduced where that line of pavement.
I think it's right there.
He went from there. It used to be there, now it's there. Let's see what that thing says. There's the end of the stone diaphragm. Oh, that's what that gray line is.
Sure would be handy to be able to ask the applicant these questions.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
So the end of the stone diaphragm, so the plan does not need to be revised to extend the stone
I don't know
diaphragm.
how
to
effective
the
this
path.
thing's gonna be.
Andrew, you say you're
Actually, what's the
filling it up
temperature
with
outside? Should I open the
You're just
window?
saying off the spot
Cross breeze?
that they already pushed out of there.
Yeah,
But the sides of that are probably, what I saw was high on the sides, just where they pushed the driveway out. But I'm
Yeah.
looking, because I'm looking where it was probably initially started, let's say it's station 1, 100 right here. You've got the grades at 207, 208, and your finished road grade is 209.
so that's
So it is
pristine.
picking up to that.
That's pristine over on that side. That's being created for the first time.
Yeah,
It's on
and
the
over
east.
here
It's on the
as well.
east side. Yeah, that's where
This
you'll
concrete over here is like 207 over here.
keep
And,
going.
You know, over here's concrete at 207, 207.87, and.
Two,
that's-
two, 205, 91?
207, I see 207, 207, 87, 207, 207, where is it? 207, 87, 207, I think 60.
Right there, right there, right there. See my little
Oh, yeah,
cursor?
that's just, yeah, that's a spot grade in the hole, so it's doing this. It's
I know.
doing that.
But that's where the puddle is.
Yeah, I think that's where they pushed it. If you look at it, they pushed the road through there. And, because you can see it, it's high on the sides, low in that area there. But I know if they fill it back to the existing grade, you say right here, it's gonna be 09, so they're only going up here about 1.16 feet. And so they're trying to do, the reason I think they're doing that is to do this to get the water to flow towards
Right.
those.
Remember that.
Yeah, so what's happening is you're creating a, like, sort of like a check dam of 1.14 feet. And, I don't even know what the slope's gonna be off of that. It's probably gonna be, what, 4 or 5 to 1 or something. It's not gonna be, and then they're doing over a short period there, they have, it looks like a 1-foot pitch going towards the basin, so it's not gonna be sheeting water. It's not drastic. I don't see anything drastic where the water's going out of control in any way. And I see it, what I do like about the plan is they're picking up everything. Everything that's running on these roadways is getting picked up by these swales that I see. Everything's running towards it.
And that's true. And actually, in this revision, they actually have more stormwater treatment on
Yeah,
the
there's a-
east side of the road.
Yeah, there's a lot
Because
there.
it used to be all being taken care of on the west.
Yep.
So now the east is getting more treatment as well.
That's where it should be.
And it's, well, you're next to the wetland all over the place.
Yeah, but
so-
that's, you could tell over that area there, everything's sort of going in that direction.
Yep. Yep.
I guess considering how close we are to the wetlands and some of these things, you know, particularly if you look at lot 5B. So I guess Andrew, if you can move up there.
5 feet. I think we're like right on the wetland line.
5B, he said.
What?
He said he wants to see over here where the.
That's the eastern lot, right?
See this?
Yes.
It's stupid at night, you know that, right?
We've got the drive coming up through here, and then we've got this area that's inside the 50-foot here and here. I'd kind of like to see conservation things thrown down in that area.
And that was where the abutter with the most concern
Here's
was.
on you, bud. Sorry?
That was where the abutter with the most concern was too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of thinking any lawn area or open land off of the drive that's within the 50-foot shall be seeded with conservation mix.
Because I think what's
Allowed
gonna
to not-
happen
This
is everything.
not much over here because it's the swale basically.
So Andrew, when that happens, like he's recommending, that'll stabilize it, and then the indigenous stuff will start growing in there, right?
I was thinking, you know, we're so
Like we've
tight. We
seen-
kind of gotta.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree.
It should be seeded with conservation mix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a naturalized native grass mix?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's because you've got enough hydrology there that'll do all.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just trying to think of like just tipping flags in the favor of protection that aren't
Yep.
Okay.
debilitating.
So are you going culvert?
Yeah, I'm saying any lawn or open area adjacent to drives shall be seeded with conservation mix, unless it's part of the stormwater management, in which case they'll, the swales and stuff, they've got their own stuff that goes in there, I would assume.
Okay. Any open land within 50 feet that is not,
But disturbed,
it's not stormwater.
open or
Yeah. Oh,
disturbed.
yeah. So I'll note. Yeah, that's within the limit of work or the limit of clearing. Yeah.
But has anything else been disturbed? You might wanna, I'm just saying, throw that in there.
Or if something inadvertently gets
Yep,
disturbed that's
yep,
outside.
yep.
Yeah. Good point.
Okay. I need a snapshot of the notes you take because.
Yeah, I'll give them to you.
Thank you.
It's an Evelyn Wood speed writing course he's got.
And it's actually readable for an engineer. Who knew?
Oh, that's because I haven't been in engineering for a few years.
Oh, that's why.
What railroad company do you work for?
Union Pacific.
Well, it's actually, so most of your description then is on the east side because the west
Right.
side
Correct.
is just
basically
this section
just
here.
and the drainage, and maybe this corner here, and like but that's all
in there.
drainage basically.
Okay, and yeah, this is already, this grass swale is already naturalized by
Right.
their,
Stormwater.
by the stormwater. And
Right.
they've already claimed it to be naturalized.
Right.
Okay, so we pick up over on this side. Okay, great.
I don't know what else I have for this one. Do you have anything else?
Mow it to avoid, mow it annually.
Oh, mow it annually in
Yeah.
November.
Yeah,
May be mown. Bill, anything else? Aside from a sore neck? Dan, you have anything you want to add?
you
to
need
this
to change your seat.
I know,
No,
it's
good.
killing me.
one? Michael?
Nope, thank you.
All right.
Okay, so I have what you wrote down.
Okay, let me grab that and I have my notes and I'll just make sure we don't miss anything. All right, well, no public comments, we're just issuing. All right, motion to issue a waiver, order of conditions, and permit to work for 233R Lincoln Street with the special conditions prepared by our staff agent, with the additional requirements that the current and any subsequent landowner shall implement organic gardening practices. They shall not use any synthetic or chemical herbicides or pesticides. They may use a natural herbicide comprised of vinegar, salt, and dish soap. They shall put forth a plan to manage the Japanese knotweed with pulling and cutting. And
Over multiple years.
they shall submit a invasives management plan, particularly related to the Japanese knotweed with pulling and cutting over several years to minimize their growth. The lawn area shall be limited to the limit of work and or the limit of clearing. Any lawn or open area adjacent to the driveway that is not a drainage feature shall, let's see, let me start that one over again. Any lawn or open area adjacent to a driveway within the limit of work, within the limit of clearing, or unintentionally disturbed shall be seeded with conservation mix, and it may be mown annually in November.
It shall be mowed no more than.
Shall be
Once a
mowed
year.
no more than once a year. In the statement of fact, we're noting that the burden of proof as far as adverse effects to the wetland values has not been confirmed by the Conservation Commission.
I'm just gonna add the finding, in the findings, I'm just gonna add that the culvert elevation came from the superseding order of conditions issued in 2004 with the file number
As
identified.
amended. In special condition number 32, the erosion control shall be specified as biodegradable compost-filled socks at limit of work.
At limited work.
And were we gonna specify the silt fence in certain locations?
We're not actually in the water here.
Okay.
I think if we were working on the other side, the
Mm.
southeasterly side, way over, then you would probably, after that,
On the other side of the stream crossing?
yeah.
So that's part of the order of condition that expires in October of this year.
Okay.
So you're not actually talking about that lot today.
All right.
I guess I should also.
We didn't go north of the stream crossing on this application.
Yeah, I think that's all we got. Can you get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I got slow.
Dan?
I'm gonna wait.
This one's a struggle for me, just because I do think it was closed prematurely. I'd like to see grading. I'm not against the project itself. I'm very against how it was handled. I think because of the way it was handled, I have to be an A.
I'm an A. I'm an I.
Is that an A?
No.
An I. Oh, I thought you said
I
nine.
just said night.
I thought that's what I heard
No.
too.
I can say,
Aye.
night.
All right. Very good.
So 3-2.
3-2. Thanks everybody for coming in.
Have a
All right.
good night, gentlemen.
Good speed lane. See you, baby.
I know we need to do that, but surprisingly
welcome.
enough, we have someone,
Thanks, Walter.
we have someone out here, Alan Drunas, for a project that is in my environmental update, my planner updates.
Do we want to bring Dan back in for a minute?
Yeah,
Hey, Dan. You want to come back in for a minute? We're going to do something else first.
Do Al's.
Yeah, that's good.
We're gonna do Al's.
Another project.
Al has
Yeah.
something.
Out in dryness.
Al, you've been waiting. So, Alan Drunas?
Al, you out there?
So,
Sleep on your time, not our time.
so we decided to take you out of order because it's 10 after 9 and you probably have to wake up in a few
Mind,
hours.
Frank?
You
Probably going right
have
to
wake
work
up.
from here.
Yeah. Why not?
So, but this is Weber Farms, which you guys approved in 2017. Oh, good. Okay. So, what I have here is.
Thanks, Al.
Okay. Okay, I'm not sure what this is gonna be, but, so what happened, so what I have showing on the screen is there's 14, this is only about 14, okay. So what I have showing on the screen is that 3 lots in Weber Estates, are within 100 feet of the wetland line. It's 14, 13, and 12, and it's on the screen, it's not in the stuff he presented. And so what he wants to do is he's looking for a lot release coming up for lot 14. The plan that you approved shows, do you have this in here, Al, that everybody's looking at? This is your as-built plan, right?
Right, that's what's
This is
there
the
now.
as-built plan. This is what
Well,
got.
this is the site plan. What's in here is the site plan that was approved.
Okay.
Oh, and then we have the
Okay,
foundation
so,
as
so
well.
take a look, so take a look on this sheet, site plan that was approved.
Yep.
Thank you for doing this. The 100-foot buffer line is, no, this isn't what got approved. When did this get approved?
When we get the building permit,
This is the building permit.
yeah.
This is the building permit. This, on the screen, is what the Conservation Commission approved. So the project, the building foundation was built according to the building permit. No question about that.
Okay.
But the building permit requested a
Well,
foundation that was inconsistent with the plans the Conservation Commission had for the orders. So I, being a very bad girl, signed off on the foundation permit application without realizing that it was inconsistent with what you approved. So if you look on 14, there's only a small portion of,
It's a big difference.
it's a house that is a mirror image flipped itself
Right,
around,
right.
and the wider part of the house got built within your jurisdiction, but not the, so there's more structure in your jurisdiction than you guys approved. And Andrea, the teacher, this is why you don't want to do conceptual approvals of house foundations
Right.
as part of subdivisions, because everybody gets to change their mind. But the Conservation Commission
These are
now
placeholders.
gets put on the proactive,
These are
now gets put
placeholders.
in a proactive position of needing to notice that it got changed in a building permit review, instead of having it be a condition of the decision that you come back in if you decide to change your mind. So you're seeing that happen.
Are we
So
also seeing less grading?
well, this went from 136 to 133, and this is probably less grading because there's more house. Because the slab, I don't know, the slab
Or no, it's at
The
130.
slab is
It's
at
139.
133 and 140, so I don't know. So what I had asked, this did get approved. This is definitely, the foundation definitely got built the
Foundation
way
and the
you,
building.
the way you asked for it in building.
Right.
But now we have a foundation that is inconsistent with the order. So the question is this a small modification that can be done administratively as a minor modification, or do you need to amend the original order to reference this? And I asked that question because Lot 13, the proposed foundation, also is different from what you authorized. 12 is not a problem. So you got two lots. I did ask for the deviation, and the site plan was approved, the foundation permit was approved, both the permits were approved by the Conservation Commission when she signed off on them, because she shouldn't have signed off on them.
You sound like you're talking to yourself.
I am, because I asked him, I'm reading aloud, and it's 9 o'clock at night, so I have to read every word.
I know.
If you wanna, if you wanna look at that one.
The
That's-
house is now 95% completed and scheduled to close.
No, 12 we
June
don't, 12 is not a problem, 13's the problem.
I'm sorry,
So, so what I was asking him to provide was the deviation, how much structure on lot 14 is within your jurisdiction on these proposed plans, and how much structure is in your jurisdiction on the proposed building permit, on the approved building permit plans.
Oh, and
It's
there's
more.
also a deck off the back.
And it's also a deck off more. It's more. It's within the outer 50, not the inner 50.
It is? Okay.
And the limit of work did not change in either case.
150 from what?
See, the green line is the wetland line, the red line is the 50-foot, and the kind of goldenrod orange
100?
is the 100. So in this plan, you have a small bit of house and deck, and in the approved foundation plan, you have
It was all
the majority of the house. You have almost 20 feet intrusion plus the deck, plus a 12-foot deck. So you are on this plan. Your deck is on the plan that got built. You're 4.5 feet from your limit of work with the deck, and on this plan you're closer to more than
You know how the
a
deck's
whole
gonna
lot
be
more than
constructed? Is it
4.5
just gonna be
feet.
on posts? No, nothing.
It's all done.
Yeah.
It's all
Oh,
built.
it is built.
Yeah, this
is a big surprise.
Yeah, we've done, I mean,
So there's no slab under the deck. It's just
no, crushed stone. The houses that are shown on the subdivision plan, you know, I mean, there's no way we could build exactly, I mean, we were putting in placeholders. All the work.
That's exactly right.
Right, so
That's exactly
all we're
right.
trying to do,
They're
we're working
placeholders.
we're within the limit of work. We haven't exceeded anything in that respect. We submitted the plan that we built for a foundation plan, got approved. Submitted it for a building plan, got approved. So we're not trying to hide anything, we're not trying to,
You just
I
didn't.
don't think any of
didn't
us
come
are-
to
no.
this
I
board.
don't think that's
I think we're just trying to figure out
Explanation.
what do we have to do.
right.
Can we do this as
and I think it should be, and I'm not telling you your business, but I think it should be administrative because given the fact that, again, when you're doing house boxes, and we did more than house boxes, we did like, hey, we can put this house. And in this case, you know, short story, the woman buying the house, it's the exact same house up there, but it has a first floor master, because she has MS. So we said, well, we gotta put a first floor master. So we took a different version of this house, which expanded the footprint of the house.
Right, but
Still
but
keeping
from
it in
our
the-
perspective, it's
Right.
it's a lot more impervious within our jurisdiction. So that's
Well-
why we gotta
Right.
we gotta think about how we
So
handle
these
it.
are
But you're
placeholders.
impervious, yeah, but you
And-
don't
I
have
mean, you're-
less pervious up front.
But that's out of our jurisdiction.
But, yes, it is, but,
I mean, and honestly, I think it's about the same out front.
yeah.
It looks like it's 4 or 5x in the back, in our jurisdiction.
So
That's why
this
I'm just
order
saying,
does
from
not
our
say-
perspective, that's why it's like, let's think about
Can
this.
somebody, what's the, on this berm, what's the top of that? I can't make it out.
The top of the berm is 138.
138?
And right now, we're at 134.
Wow. So you get rid of, so you're not having a lot more runoff then?
So we get 4 feet, we're
So
4
the,
feet
so
we
the
drop.
kick is that you guys are doing a review of a plan now.
Right.
Do you want to do an amended, do you want him to amend the order for Weber Farms for these two new house lots because they're variations on what you approved?
What's the cleanest?
That's
Well,
probably
That's probably the cleanest.
yeah.
I mean, you can't issue a certificate of compliance,
Right.
so you have to do something.
I think we have to do whatever the cleanest thing is here, just so we have a nice clean paper trail.
Honestly, the fact that you guys are talking about grades makes me think you want to review this. You don't want it to be administratively approved.
Well, doesn't the person they have a closing coming up here, correct?
Right, that's.
He's
our
not
problem.
getting he didn't ask for a certificate of compliance
No,
before.
partial
A partial is what we're looking for. We're just nervous about the, a bank attorney
partial,
picking this
still-
up and,
Still, I can't get hurt.
You can't give if the partial is for, what are you gonna give him partial on? This is a this is an order of conditions for the entire subdivision.
partial on lot
So
14.
So he wants 14 to be
Oh.
considered compliant,
Right.
fully
We
compliant.
do a partial?
No,
What about 13?
that's, yeah.
What about 13?
13 is the same problem, it's just not his immediate problem,
But
because
shouldn't we do it?
we should do them
We should do them
both.
the same way.
We should treat them the same way.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, if you could approve it administratively, then I will. Lesson learned.
So.
Don't
if
do
you
this
did-
again.
Couldn't
Right.
you do that tonight and then give me a partial?
We're not talking about the fact that your wetland replication hasn't been planted
No,
yet,
no,
but
subject
that
to
he
that.
plans to,
Subject to
he
that.
plans to do his wetland
Yeah.
replication planting.
Right.
And it was supposed to be done by now.
Tuesday.
By
By
Tuesday.
Yep.
Oh,
Next
again,
Tuesday, a week from tomorrow.
Correct.
Yes, I
That's
know,
the
I know.
Yep.
You're on it. You're on it. So he'll have the first initial plantings done. And he,
All the planting.
He'll probably be there tonight doing it.
I think
Or an animal.
it's probably true. I think it's probably true. There's a lot of wetland replication that needs to be done on the property, and otherwise, other than these, so he can submit an amended order, amend the. He could. Your next meeting is the 15th. He could either do a request for certificate of compliance or an amended order on the same night. He could get if he gets everything submitted by November 1, you could approve an amended order, and in the amended order, you could acknowledge that this site has been constructed in accordance with the amended order. So you could give a partial certificate on 14 as part of the amended order.
Yes.
Straightens out 13 and acknowledges the problem going.
Can I just make a point? One thing I do see here is on the, I know building closer to the wetland or whatever, that's obviously, you think about it as a negative. One thing I'm seeing here, though, when it was approved, you had elevation 38 down to an elevation of 33 over a distance of
20 feet?
Yeah, so you had, what's that, what slope would that be? 20 feet, you get a difference of
Yeah, he created,
five.
he's got a more flat backyard.
That's a,
Right.
what's,
Well,
what's
actually,
that, so you had a ski
yeah.
slope there.
Yeah.
And now it's only a foot over what existing grade was, so you get like a, I don't know, 10-to-1 slope.
Well, yeah, he's got
So you're not
138
getting,
to
I don't think
133.
you're getting a lot of, I think you're getting obviously less runoff because honestly, you've put in gutter drains when the water hits the
Everything's, yeah,
roof.
roof
He's doing
drains.
the full review right now.
Yeah, but no, I'm just saying.
He's done.
I'm just saying, I'm not terribly upset about what happened here, Andrew, because the water hits the roof. After if it's more than 2-inch rain, so it bounces off the roof and lands on the ground.
And maybe you get infiltration.
But it's,
Well, I just want
runoff.
to say that, like, if it was a true mirror image, we'd have the exact same amount of impervious inside our jurisdiction. To me, that'd be an absolute no-brainer administrative. The thing that makes me pause and go home is just that we have so much more.
Well, he had to increase the footprint to get the master downstairs.
Right,
I mean,
right.
that's, you know, that's
Right, that's
what
totally
he had to do.
understandable. And the foundation was approved, so we
We're
might just have to, like,
trying
take our
figure out
medicine
how
on
to
this
get this
one.
so that he doesn't get stuck with a piece of property we can't own.
Right, right.
That's all. I mean, that's what we're trying to get to here.
Yeah.
So the question is, do we do that as a minor modification and approve it, or we ask for an amendment? Which one's, you know, gonna?
I think a minor mod.
Minor mod.
I think a minor mod, you could do it. I'm just thinking of how to
So are
collect
there
the
any
water.
standards do we have on minor modifications?
Insignificant deviation from the original. And I tend to use, as a guidance, I tend to use a 10-foot change.
Should
10%
Could
change.
we? I mean,
As 10% change is substantial, it absolutely has to be an amendment.
right.
But minor mods are supposed to be insignificant,
So because it's partially our fault to a certain degree, could it be considered minor because we approved
Oh,
the
it's
It's
foundation?
only
One
your
step
fault.
further.
It's only
It's a-
your fault because the order did not say
Mhm.
that
Back.
they have to proactively take a step if they change their foundation layout.
We
You
gotta add-
didn't tell
we need to
them
put
that.
in.
It's
But-
getting
but-
put in
but
every
if
single.
I- but if I
It
can-
was in good. It was in good speed, which
Yeah.
I did a month later.
If I can add, we also gave back by reducing the grading in the back. So you know what I'm saying? I mean, it was, maybe it wasn't by design, but we definitely made it a better situation than what's on that plan up there.
So what he's asking is that
So-
the certificate
so-
of compliance isn't going to be coming in until the July 15th after the closing. But he plans to get the wetland replication planted, so the first installment, and he wants me to verbally, he just wants the certificate of occupancy to be issued by the
Right.
building department.
And
Frankly,
what do they need for that? Do they need a?
they don't need anything from us to issue a certificate of occupancy,
No, it's a
because the
bank.
Oh,
building.
the bank.
Yes, the bank is the
Yeah,
problem.
but the building department has no issues of compliance.
Right, I agree.
Right.
I'm 100%,
We
yeah,
can,
100% right.
you cannot vote on a certificate of compliance until it's submitted, and you won't be voting until July 15th,
Right.
after the closing.
What you're saying is to do a partial, we can do, correct?
Did you guys do anything different with
You can do a partial condition.
anything
based
additional
on
for like the roof
replication
runoff
being done
and,
by
and all
next
that
year.
kind
Well,
of thing?
all the houses we do, roof runoff.
He
is-
hasn't
is
even
into
applied yet,
infiltration
Mr. Goodman.
No,
He hasn't even applied.
Is that,
he's not asking for it.
you know, because we've got, you know, more square footage of roof.
No, everything's
was
in the
that-
ground. Everything goes back in the ground.
Okay, into like dry wells or?
Yep.
Okay.
So we could fix this, right?
Well, we can, there's no question, we're just trying to
Yeah.
figure out which is the best way.
Right, I understand.
I think there's agreement here that we're not looking to hold up
No.
Mr. Andrew.
No.
I mean, I
But
don't think.
I'm just asking the question, do we, you know, if we go, give them the partial, and, because aren't we still protected, or no?
Listen, can I give you one more option?
Yeah,
If you
go ahead.
if he submits an amended order, when you approve the amended order,
Yeah.
you can include a statement of partial certificate of compliance for 14 as part of the amended order. So you can get your cake and eat it too. You can
Does that allow
both,
them to close, though?
it'll happen on the 15th. It won't happen until the
Is that all right,
15th.
Al, or no?
No, it's not. No.
Well, they can't vote until an application is submitted.
So what does what is your feeling about what the bank needs to see from us?
They probably need a partial.
But you
But
can't
we-
get that
we
until
can't
the
give a
15th.
partial, right? We can't give a partial to the 15th.
And you can get a partial either regardless of what you submit, you can get a partial, you can get a statement that says
I got a woman that's
you've got
gotta
a
move out of
partial
her
cert.
house, you know, I mean, if we were supposed to put in an application, why didn't we talk about that last week? You told
I
me couldn't.
did.
You told me I couldn't do it.
No, I did. I said I said I'll bring it to the board, but it's either going to be an amended or notice of intent or a minor modification.
Right, but if I'd put in for this partial, they could have voted on it, right?
No, because you didn't have your wetland. You didn't have
But
your
it could have been
wetland plants
subject-
in
It could have been
place.
subject to the plants going in place.
Oh, I don't think I would have made that
I gave you
recommendation.
that
Well, the
letter and you
whole
agreed
order
with
of
me.
conditions was
I-
subject to
We're
the plans
changing
going
our-
in place.
No.
This was approved not once, but twice.
By the
Now we
permit,
build
by
a
the
house and now we
building,
can't sell it?
by the you can sell it,
By
but
the building, don't
what
say
he's
the building.
asking,
The
what
building,
he's
nothing.
asking is that on the 24th, he put his plants in the ground, and on the 24th afternoon, I inspect and I say, subject to a vote of the commission, you are in compliance with your order. He's not, and he will have submitted, probably by the 24th, he will have submitted the correct paperwork, so you'll have an application for me to write a staff report on. So I don't think it's gonna matter, if my staff report says you can, I would recommend that they vote, when they vote for a partial certificate. I don't think it's gonna matter to the bank whether that statement comes in an amended order or it comes in a standalone certificate. You can file both. But to Dan's point, you have the same problem on the 13th that we now have uncovered, so you should deal with them both at the same time. So that we're not here the next time. I'm not changing my tune. I didn't know if it was gonna be an amended order or a minor mod, because I didn't know at the time how many lots were affected.
I mean, it's the same plan. It's the same plan. How could you not know how many lots? It's right there. That's the plan.
This is the plan, this is not the way you built it. This is the way the commission approved
But
it.
I didn't move the wetland line. It's 2 lots.
No,
that
but you
always was.
moved your
changed the word
foundation
inside
Right,
the wetland
but to say you
jurisdiction.
don't know how many lots are affected.
I now know
it's-
how many
it's-
lots are affected. Here's what 13 looks like.
Right.
The 100-foot buffer zone,
Oh, but it clipped it anyways, right?
flipped it right there,
We'll go back to the original?
and the original had it, didn't
deck.
clip it, and had a deck, And so the deck hasn't been incorporated onto this plan yet, but if the deck got incorporated, it'll be somewhere
that's-
inside your buffer zone.
I think that's minor.
That's minor.
Yeah.
if they don't put in a deck, is there gonna be a deck on
Yeah,
13?
it's gonna
Well,
be
but
a
is it gonna be the
So
same?
where's-
It's gonna be
where's the
on
deck?
post, no.
yeah, it's all crushed stone.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
still think that's.
I still think that's
You
minor.
do decks as RDAs.
Yeah.
But it's on the original.
But
Is
we
that
already
that?
got this approved 3
On the
times.
original.
You got it,
Yeah, there's a deck
approved
there.
like 20 times.
The
If
deck
you
there.
wanna include every single
there.
municipal
Deck's there.
authority that approved the plans.
But the building inspector doesn't sign off unless everybody else signs off.
No, he can sign off on a certificate of occupancy. I spoke to him.
No, but the foundation plan, he would never give us a foundation plan unless
Can I say for
everybody.
the third time that I should not have signed off on the foundation permit?
But, so let's all work together to try to make this a wrong a right. That's
We want
all.
to.
I know,
Want
but
to. We're
I
trying-
need some kind of I need something in case, if
Yeah, but
if
we
the
but we
bank.
also have to work
Yeah.
within the framework that we have.
Right.
Do we not trust so what's holding up is the wetland planning?
Wetland replication has not even begun.
And are we concerned that that's not gonna happen?
It's
In the
gonna
next
be,
week,
it'll be done by Tuesday.
it'll probably get done in the next week. I have a serious concern that if they're not sitting, if we get regular June and July and August weather, that by the fall, the shrubs may not last. This is not the right time of year to be putting in plants. So they're not gonna get their success rate. But that's, just means they'll replant.
Well, that
That just means they'll replant.
Well, that just means they can't get a
That's in
COC.
Yeah,
It's in the order condition, they gotta replan anyway,
Right.
whatever doesn't.
I know, but it's just not, it's like
It's more
9
his
months.
loss than ours. He's
It's
gonna be the
9
one
months
spending the
late.
money.
He was supposed to do it a long time ago, and now he's doing it at the last minute. And it had a better chance of success if he had done it when he was supposed to. Okay,
Oh,
we all make mistakes.
yeah, but there's all reasons. You don't know what, if there's slop back there, or who knows? I'm not
It's
getting
been a
into
really
this.
wet spring, we know that.
Horrible, yeah, in the
Yeah,
winter it's
very,
even
very
worse.
wet. All right, so
so does a partial COC require legal notice?
No, but you've got plenty of time to notice between now and the 15th.
The 15th doesn't help this applicant. I was just thinking, if we had another meeting, you could schedule a meeting legally on 72 hours' notice.
He can't have, you need something on the 25th of June.
Right, I'm saying.
So no, we can't, you gotta schedule a week and a half ahead. You publish on
Well, that's
submit
what-
on a
That
Monday.
was his question.
That's his
whether or not
question.
you
Was-
do
but-
legal notice on a COC.
But you don't need legal notice on a certificate.
Right, no, you don't.
So we could have a meeting between now and the 25th in the lobby.
If he had his wetland plants in and a COC application submitted,
can you do that by the end of the week?
The application,
In the plantings?
the plantings they're gonna have by Tuesday.
Tuesday of next
Because
week.
you're waiting on materials?
No, the plants are being pulled right now. The order is being pulled. We started the excavation of it today. Well, we actually started it Saturday. And depending on the weather, I mean, I might get it done by Saturday or Friday, but
Well,
I don't wanna sit
now,
here. Yeah.
how many other projects do you have going on in town?
What does that matter?
Well, it matters.
Oh,
It goes to.
manpower?
No, it goes to this commission in the past has issued partials with taking the builder, we had Sean Flynn help us out with the one customer on Bay Road. with
How
the,
can you issue a partial certificate of compliance for a project that's not in compliance? How can you say that
I'm saying for the lot.
lot foundation is substantially in compliance with the foundation that you approved?
So,
There's a step missing.
So
You
we-
have to approve the foundation that got built.
so we,
And then you can issue a certificate of compliance on your new vote.
right, so
But this is out of compliance.
right. So we would need to issue a partial
You
on,
need,
the 24th for them to close on the 25th.
you need to approve, you need to find the project in compliance.
Well, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. So I'm working backwards. They're closing on the 25th. We need to issue our partial
But
COC
actually, no,
on the
we were gonna have the
24th.
work done by the 25th, try to get our paperwork. I think we're closing like Thursday, whatever that date is, the 27th.
Okay, so
You
that
need it-
changes
You need it
things.
as a bank, if it's for a bank, they need it at least 3 days.
Oh yeah,
before,
definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so you can push the closing out a week, a few days.
Can push it out till the end of next week.
Okay. All right, so if you can push it out to the 28th,
Yeah.
You get all your plantings done the 25th.
Yeah.
By the 25th,
Oh, yeah.
like noon.
Yeah.
Andrea can inspect them, and we could have whoever can get in for a meeting the evening of the 25th or
I can
morning
get
of the 26th.
That is, Thursday?
I can't do
Can
the
you do an,
Tuesday.
can you-
Tuesday.
I can do it, I
Tuesday.
can come in.
I can come in.
on the 26th?
Yep, I can be here.
I'll be
Yeah.
Wednesday.
It's gonna be a
You're talking
daytime.
Wednesday morning.
I
I can come anytime. Just tell me when to be
I
here.
could probably come in Wednesday morning.
When do you want me in here, Stefan?
What are we calling it? The 20 Wednesday?
Wednesday the 26th. Could you guys do like 9?
Sure.
9, 8, yeah.
So how are we gonna get to that point?
Yeah, I don't know.
So how do we, so I think the only way to get to that point is to call this a minor mod. That's the only way to get to this point. Is that the precedent that we're looking to set here?
I think if we go the route of minor mod, we're calling it a minor mod because we approved the foundation plan.
9 a.m.
But also the grading got substantially changed to the better, to the better. No, but I'm just trying to give you something back, is what I'm saying.
No,
If
I
you're giving me
understand.
something, I'm giving you something back. That's all I'm trying to do.
And I think that overall, this isn't something we wouldn't approve. We're sort of stuck in this sort of
Yeah.
regulatory,
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying,
conundrum.
what's the path of least resistance at this point to ultimately get the same end result? I don't think anything's precedent setting here.
Anything could be used as precedent setting.
Okay.
That's my only.
This is a bigger minor mod than any
Yeah.
minor mod this board has approved
Right.
in the time I've been here.
I think it's just because of the situation that's.
Yeah.
It's a
situational
subdivision.
thing.
So when you look at
And the fact that you're
when you look
under
at
the
the
gun,
math
that
of the entire
creates urgency
subdivision,
on
it's
your
not
part,
that
and we have to
significant.
work within our framework.
And I appreciate that.
So
No, and along comes a not, I don't wanna say because it's the wrong terminology. Along comes a different clientele situation than normal, and that throws, it's a whole bunch of small
It's
stuff with
it's
a wrench
something totally
thrown
out of
in,
left
and-
field.
yeah, that's all,
Yeah.
you know?
And so
9 o'clock.
So how do we
What
get
do
there?
I- what do I need to
What,
do?
what do we need to file? When do we need to file by for a Wednesday morning meeting? Friday? No,
Monday,
Monday.
Monday,
Well,
72
basically
hours.
Friday.
Monday morning at the latest,
Monday
Yeah, which
morning at
means
the
which means
latest.
Friday.
preferably Friday afternoon.
Yeah,
But if we do it Monday morning at the latest, we could at least see
it's really got to be.
progress.
It's got to be.
We could cancel it too. if there's a
That's
problem.
true.
I mean, just because you have the posted meeting doesn't mean you can't see it on Tuesday
Should we
or
just?
Wednesday
Should we just?
or Tuesday.
Let's see. Because you need what? 48 hours.
Yes, you just don't need a public hearing and all that.
What if? Can you guys do Thursday the 27th at like? So if, all right. So let's say.
But does that give their bank people enough time to get the paperwork?
Or you push out the close till the next Monday.
Well, you'd have to get a report too.
Well, cause I'm just thinking.
If you can give me the certificate on Thursday, I can make it happen.
So if we do it for Thursday at 10 a.m., we can at least see significant progress Tuesday morning to know that, okay, we're on track. We can still have this meeting and go this route.
So you
Does that
wanna
make
do
sense?
Thursday the
I'm gonna be
27th.
done Tuesday. If Wednesday works better for you, then
Well, I'm just saying if we do it Wednesday and something's not up to snuff, then
And
we have zero maneuvering.
Well, he was
Right.
trying to be to snuff
be
on
up-
Tuesday.
I'll be up to
was,
snuff.
Was what I was saying.
I'll be up to
Posh,
snuff.
you know,
Yeah, I can't
so-
be, Thursday I have to do
You can't
jury
do?
duty.
Oh, yikes.
fun.
no, I'll be up to snuff.
So Wednesday,
No,
9 a.m.
Wednesday at 9 a.m. Yep.
And Keith will let us know whether
I'm
it's
afraid I
in.
won't be here that day, but Andrew's
Yeah.
gonna be sure.
But
You'll let us know
but
what-
do
what
I
room
need to
or hall we're
file?
in.
Do I need to file anything? If we're gonna do a minor mod, I don't need to file anything.
No, you have to file a request for certificate of compliance.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And the minor mod has to happen tonight.
I think because of the special situation, I could get on board with it calling it a minor mod, even though it is definitely not a minor mod.
Lot 13 should be submitted at the same time.
I think lot 13 is definitely a minor mod.
Yep.
Absolutely.
What do you
Lot
want? What do you-
14, I think because we okayed the foundation plan, we kind of just have to take our medicine and accept that as a minor.
Yeah.
But I can't put in a request for a partial on 13 at the same time.
No, you just have to make a request for them to acknowledge there's a new foundation
Sorry, Frank,
for
didn't think this was
13.
gonna take this long. It's been the last
10 meetings.
Oh, I tell you. What are your thoughts on the minor?
Here's my conclusion on this, that ultimately we're going to approve this. So I'm trying to be practical here, from the sense that since the error is partially on us, that I think that we need to do what we can to make the applicant not suffer any losses because of this. That's my reasonableness to this.
That's a good way to put it.
Whether or not we believe that it precisely follows our guidelines about minor modifications,
Right.
I'm trying to justify it from the sense that the end is gonna get us there anyway, even if we made Mr. Andrunas file an amended notice for this. And considering our own culpability in the problem, let's make this a minor mod. Let's accept the minor mods to 14 and 13. Allow Mr. Andrunas to request a certificate of compliance, partial COC on 14, so that his buyer can close before the end of the month.
Excellent,
I think
excellent
excellent
wording.
work.
Well said.
I agree, Rory, and I think you're 100% right that we could fix it.
Yeah. No, that's-
All right. Well, I guess.
And for the record, I understand Andrea's objection.
Oh,
Okay?
totally,
But
totally.
at the end of the day, we're gonna do the right thing on this anyway.
It's a
So-
situational minor.
Let's just make it happen tonight.
Yeah.
We'll never speak of it again.
Yeah. All right. Any public comment on Matthew Circle?
You don't have to have a vote, it's a minor,
Oh, great.
a minor mod administrative approval.
Right. See you
I was
on
just looking for
Wednesday, Al.
guidance.
Okay.
Okay, so
See you Wednesday
the
morning.
guidance
See you
is
Wednesday.
Thanks, Al.
against our better
Make it
judgment.
work.
Yes,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Make it work.
Run away, run away. Yeah, have an extra.
Questions?
Run away.
He needs, before he does, he's got a letter in here as to what he's gonna do to bring the site into compliance, and then he's gonna submit the request
But
saying
tomorrow I'm
he
gonna
did it.
tomorrow I'm gonna give you a request, correct?
Right. Do you know what you need to do?
That's what I'm saying. Tomorrow I'm gonna give you a request for a partial certificate on 14, right?
Yeah.
So that you can act on it.
That's what he's going to file.
And you're gonna say in this partial, you're gonna say, based on the minor mod approval of tonight, the site plan is been found to be compliant, and based on the fact that I promised to do the wetland planting, then I can be compliant. And you're gonna and then take a look and see if there's anything else I'm gonna find about that certificate of compliance that's out of compliance, and make sure it's not. So it's gonna be a trust me. It's gonna be a trust me request, and these guys are up for it. So lucky you.
So, Thursday morning, Wednesday morning,
Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning.
to Wednesday at 9.
And bring in 13 and request a minor mod for that.
What do you want to? Do you need to fly?
No, no.
I don't think there's any. I don't think.
You'll need a conference room and.
No, I'll stay for you. I get a few, yeah, I'm
Okay.
just going back and forth.
All right. I'm sorry. We gotta zip to the next one. Thank you for coming.
Thanks,
in.
Al.
Thanks for joining us.
Good night, Al.
All right. Goodspeed. Come on up, Frank.
Hi,
Thank
Frank.
you for your patience.
Yeah. Seriously.
Hi, Frank.
Good evening. For those of you who do not know me,
Uh-oh, I think, did Al skip the book? Did he skate?
Oh, maybe he did, yeah. That's all right.
What do you forget?
No, I meant the book.
Oh.
No, but the book,
The attendance.
the attendance.
No, I think they can make a nice
Yeah. His own personal recognizance. All right. So Goodspeed was basically good.
Goodspeed was,
Speedy.
Goodspeed has already been approved.
We were just waiting on the
And
final conditions.
And there were there weren't too many conditions described in the order, so rather than have it go out with no conditions because things like this happen, I am asking you to consider the fact that, I'm asking you to consider the draft decision that I wrote, and probably the biggest thing about it, and I
Which
can't
number is it?
find it, is it's in board business. It's under standard conditions.
It's under the
There's an order, and there's a permit. And so we're not taking any comment on this because the hearing's definitely closed.
Right.
Um,
But the big thing is the
The-
condition finding insignificance of the.
Yes.
Which one is that?
Yes, it's the findings. So in the orders, in the permit for work, the difference between the order and the permit for work in the findings section is that the state doesn't recognize the small isolated wetland as a wetland that they regulate. So it's just identified as filling in the order of conditions, it's identified in the findings as filling an isolated vegetated wetland that's protected by the local law and is within the 50-foot buffer of an area that the order of conditions cares about. And then we mostly speak about the BVW that is getting managed. The permit for work, asking that instead of issuing a waiver that says you can take one of our wetlands and fill it completely and have no different standard than if you were filling the buffer zone. I'm asking that you guys, not the applicant, I'm asking that you guys take the extra step to say, the reason we're allowing this waiver is because the applicant did provide the level of information necessary in order for you to say that this area is not significant for certain wetland functions, and it is significant for flood control, groundwater, and prevention of pollution. But the drainage swale, the little trench, takes care of mitigating those functions of the wetland.
Right.
So you can actually toss a wetland and put in a drainage trench and find that it is consistent with the functions of the wetland bylaw. So it's only a strategy of a decision. It is not. But you guys have to say it's not. You have to say that it's presumptively not significant.
Yeah, and I think we saw evidence that that's true.
No doubt about that.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
The special conditions are.
Did you guys already? Did they vote on issuing?
They voted
we're
on
issuing the order of conditions and permit to work tonight.
They voted to issue. They voted to issue.
So do we need to do anything actively
So
tonight?
I had special conditions in here that are not ones that were included in the motion.
So are we voting to amend the motion?
I would ask that you vote to amend the motion, that that this strategy is to protect your butt.
Yeah.
And that you might want to amend your motion.
Very good. Motion to amend the order of conditions and permit to work for 8, 12, 20, and 24 Goodspeed Lane to reflect the updated order of conditions and permit to work, prepared,
conditions.
draft conditions, prepared by our town agent.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
It'll get issued, in the next couple days.
Okay. Good. Should've just taken care of you first. I'm sorry, Frank.
Tufts Farm has a new scenario. I know you're extremely tired.
No, he knows.
He has
He has
you
a
good?
thing.
All right.
I'll see you guys.
Yep.
Thanks, sir.
Hope it's all right.
You have a thing. Night.
Yeah, go.
Wow. What is that? What is that? Tufts Farm has a new scenario that just came in today.
Oh, here we
That
go.
reflects the septic. We had that septic issue down by the road. So this is the new draft plan.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Okay. So it
What do you guys
has
think?
it has that little farm stand kind of got turned perpendicular to the road, so it can be used as a sign. It has off-street parking that's separate, and it has everything stays the same over there, and then there's a new trail here and a new trail here that goes between the paddocks.
Yeah. And do we know if they consulted with Mike on this?
Yes,
I
they
would
do.
like the driveway being moved.
His own driveway doesn't get moved. His own driveway is exactly the same place.
Yeah, he must like having the parking totally separate.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to build it, I'm sure he
Yeah.
doesn't care. It's not an area he's using.
Right.
There will be. This is the draft, but there will be a larger scenario which shows
the
parking
backfield.
off of the
Perfect.
rifle drive and a mode pathway
Perfect.
coming off of that drive that's not shown here. So raised beds, herbs, blueberries.
Yeah.
He gets his private area, and then you create more farm.
We've got ADA accessible trail loop.
Yeah,
We don't have too many of those in town, I don't think.
yeah. The more you.
Just really depends which chair you're using.
There are
You get the Jeep
sections.
one?
There are sections of Wheaton, like certain sections, and then certain sections of Clifford Grant,
Yeah.
which are, and they have like little.
Turn around.
Yeah, they have little turnarounds on them.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you can make it all the way to the dam.
So if you guys no changes there, so we're all set. Very cool.
All right. Plan mod to 5 corner sewer system phase 2, the staging area. Is that minor?
Oh, look at you. It is minor. It is in the framework of the entire sewer system.
Yep.
They're using old Foundry Street, the old Foundry site as their construction staging. So they're putting an erosion control around the concrete. It's just that the concrete is within 25 feet of a wetland.
I think we just solved the Facebook mystery.
Yes.
Well, I think we all knew the Facebook mystery, but my goodness, people were so.
All right. So sounds minor. Good. Perfect.
It is definitely minor.
Definitely minor. And any major planner updates? Anything crazy?
24 Cornerstone
Yeah.
wants to add a hot tub. That's 25 Cornerstone was a pool, and they want to add a hot tub within their limit of work within their patio. They're taking a section of patio, making it a hot tub. That's a minor mod.
Yeah.
Maplewood Day Camp starts their treatment tomorrow. They got their Mass DEP license, and we got the little labels, and we've got the applications, and they're on their way. Cooperstein has spread his seed, and the shrubs are on order to be planted this week. The trees don't get planted till the fall. Congratulations. The Booker Electrical is its new problem. My vacation schedule, I will not be at the August 5th meeting.
Neither will I.
I'm taking 2 weeks off to go see my daughter in Africa. Bringing my daughter home from Africa, actually.
I'm gonna be out of town that day too, actually.
Okay. If you want to have a meeting without the two of us, I can have a consultant take my job. if you cancel the meeting, and this is probably not a decision that you all want to make tonight, but you can cancel the meeting, but then you have one meeting in July and one meeting in August and one meeting in September.
No, we moved the other one.
Yeah, we
September,
moved it.
switched to
Oh.
different weeks.
Oh, okay.
But you've only got one meeting to make that decision before the August.
Right, so the 15th you have to, so
We have to
heads
decide.
up,
Okay.
heads up, I'm not gonna be around on the 5th,
Will we
and
have-
neither will you.
Will we have an idea of what's on the docket?
Yes, on the 15th you'll know.
Okay. All right.
And like I said, you've got money in your account to
Right, we can have a
hire
consultant.
a consultant. It's gonna be Beta, because they're the ones we have a contract with.
So.
All right. So we'll note that for the July. We'll just add that as a agenda
And she's
item.
gonna be, yes, and also Keith won't be here, so it'll be one of those meetings where the consultant is taking minutes
Well, I'll be
and,
here for the August 5th meeting if there is a meeting that night.
Oh.
I just won't be here for the Thursday, Friday before the meeting. For
Ah.
prep.
Okay.
That's the problem.
it's, yeah.
So the consultant will have to do the prep. My question is, though, the contents of the August 5th meeting will be known by the 15th of July.
Right.
But that means that we'll have also placed hearing notices and legal ads.
But will we? Because I think
Yes,
we
they
have
do-
I think we
they
have an
do
extra
a-
week gap there.
Oh, yeah, yes,
Oh,
the
we do.
22nd.
Yeah, we have it's 3 weeks.
Yes, it's the 22nd.
Did we move the deadline on this?
I don't think we did, but the legal ad doesn't have to go in,
Doesn't have to go in, you're right.
so that's good.
So
Okay.
we did have
Let's
some
hope
time.
we didn't,
Cool.
let's hope we didn't change the schedule. Let's hope they stayed on the 15th. Oh, I know the answer.
Yeah, it's right there on the.
Yeah.
It's right on the cover of the binder.
It's right
Right
there.
on your cover.
It says July 22nd is the filing deadline.
Okay, good.
Cool.
So we
July
did- we
26th
moved
is
we moved
the-
deadline.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Advertising.
you can't, if there's only
Smart.
one meeting
So-
each month, and you're gonna have a new board, and if you can't cancel a meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
July 22nd, so you're not gonna know on the 15th.
Yeah, 'cause
'Cause you-
already got-
You're not gonna know on the
Right.
15th
Right.
how many hearings you have.
Okay.
Well, we'll have a sense.
So we're
though.
gonna have to make
No,
a
you won't.
decision.
Everything comes in the last minute.
Oh, God.
Yeah. We'll make a final decision on the 15th.